3, 2, 1. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and this is
Tonight,
Storytime Live.
I'll be eating fried avocado tacos.
Thank you.
Ooh, you gonna eat that at Leslie Palooza? What? Who's coming to that?
Everyone coming. Everybody. You, her, me, all of us.
Skip. Oops. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. But it's Ash on Comics, so it wouldn't be another stream if something didn't happen. I thought that was actually Skip playing, so it took me a second to correct. Sorry about that. How's everyone doing tonight? I wish I could do a do-over. So now I have oh wait, hold on. Hey everyone, welcome to Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Let's do this over. Let's pretend this nothing happened. Skip was muted because I thought he was playing some music by accident. So I just totally screwed the pooch. You guys got to see that all live. And maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe I won't. Who cares? How you doing tonight, Skip?
Pretty good. Just got off a stream a little while ago with Dominic and Breen and RDV over on England Team's channel, and we were talking about my favorite comic book of all time, The Death of Captain Marvel. So I made it through it this time without needing tissue and crying into my beverage. So I think we're pretty good.
All right, great. And also joining us is Real Dr. Vankman, who was on that stream with you. How you doing tonight, Real Dr. Vankman?
I'm doing good.
That's really hard to say. So are you going by Real Dr. Are you just going by RDV these days?
RDV, really.
Just RDV. Are you like the KFC thing? You're just going by the initials?
Yeah, but I taste better.
Well, I don't know, man. KFC's finger looking good. Well, I am still trying to brush off that embarrassment of that's really effed up start.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, good. Everyone else is listening does. So I am drinking tonight Rain total body fuel that apparently isn't helping me.
It's clear that you're drinking.
God, Jesus. I was like, I should be drinking alcohol. At least I have an excuse. I'm tired tonight, so I was like, I'm just going to have this energy drink. The Circle K by my house has several of them that are like on clearance, so they're like $1 a piece. And I was like, all right, I'll buy a couple of these for $1. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. How about you guys? You having a nice frosty beverage?
I am drinking a very small amount of a pina colada because my cousin made a bunch, and I tried to just drink my regular, no honey, no sugar added black tea, but she wouldn't let me say no, so I'm sipping on a little pina colada over here.
Skip only drinks alcohol when I don't. That's the rule. If I'm drinking,
so we gotta change that.
So wait, are you being checked on every a few minutes to see if you drank it or not?
She did come up here. She did come up here and check on me to make sure I was drinking it, and I had to let her know, like, yeah, cuz it's pretty good, nice and smooth.
You pouring in a water bottle, hiding it.
Well, like over on the side of my desk. Yep. Nope. She came and sought me out, man. She made sure I was honest, and happy to report. Like I said, it's pretty good.
You know,
Funny,
uh,
funny. So how did I only got to partake in like the very end of it because I was busy. How did the Captain Marvel thing go?
I think it went pretty well. Everybody enjoyed it pretty much. The stream, people are a fan of the character. People are a fan of just seeing old issues getting talked about. It seems like only everybody talks about now is how everything sucks. So to see people talking about stuff that's good or even possibly great,
It is
you
nice
know?
to talk about things that are good or great, or just doesn't suck.
It's right.
um,
Nobody wants to talk about stuff that just makes them mad all the time. Then that's not good for you. I mean,
no,
you don't
it's
end up like
not.
Marvel. You get stressed out.
It's not. Sometimes I feel like I need to vent though. Like I feel when I see something that I like, that I'm emotionally invested in, and it's done shitty or whatever, and it's upsetting me.
Oh, sure.
I feel like I want to vent about it. But I understand. I definitely want to move on after that. I don't want to vent and then just keep raging about the same thing,
Right.
forever. And sometimes it's just fun to mock stuff. That's what I try to do these days. Is when I see stuff that's stupid, instead of being like angry, just like laughing at it and just making fun of it. Just that's
Your inner
amazing.
child.
Yeah, just like the old Simpsons. I forget what's that Simpsons character. He's like,
Nelson.
Nelson. Yeah, just
Point.
yeah. Let's see. Melissa's first in the chat tonight. How are you doing, Melissa? Good to see you. Dominic's here. Dragon Ball says this isn't his kind of story, so most people won't tune in because it's not your kind of story. And I have the same opinion of millions, but hi. So apparently, because he doesn't like it, other people aren't gonna like it. Sorry.
Is he the one to give the one dislike already?
Probably. I don't know. I can never please Dragon Ball talk, but he's here, so welcome. HR Goes Vocal says hello to everyone. Miranya's here. Good to see you, Miranya. Rusty Deo. He says good day, and he's not first. Nalo says Snow Angels rules. Yes, high five to Nalo. It's so good. It's so good.
I keep wanting to read his name as Rusty Nail after watching what was it with Paul Walker, I think it was. The one with the semi driver trying to kill him. Joyride.
Oh, I've never seen that. But anyways, Nalo, it's good to have you here. It's good to see someone that appreciates the quality writing and storytelling of this book. So
I shared it out, and I told Mr. Lemire that we're reading his book.
I'm doing a virtual fist bump through the mic right now. Let's see. Marani says she's liking Snow Angels. Yeah. Or anyone. Fist bump can join in on the we're liking Snow Angels indie love fist bump. Let's see. HR says nope. We'll still remember Ash on Comics. I don't know what that's all about. Captain Marvel at DC will always be Billy Batson, and over the late great Marvel version, and Captain Marvel will always be there. Captain. I don't. That's my head's spinning, Melissa. Are you guys, Skip and Vankman, do you guys have any qualms about the whole naming thing with Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel?
Well, first of all, on behalf of Skip and me, what do you mean by you guys?
I'm sorry, did I assume you're ginger, Vankman?
Vankman's so ridiculous. That was a good one.
All right. Repeat the question without saying you guys.
Human persons. You living creatures that are inhabitants of the planet Earth, that are on the stream with me tonight. Do you have any qualms over the naming problems of Captain Marvel versus Captain Marvel?
I personally don't see the issue. I mean, for a reader, you get confused, yes, but it was between two companies fighting over a name. But who cares about the name? As long as this character is great, that's all that matters. You know. I mean, yes, you can't have like this is Long John Pajama Man. Like, that's not gonna take off.
I mean,
apparently Captain Underpants did.
I kind of understand, because Shazam, as we know him today, was originally Captain Marvel. I mean, that's actually still his name in the comic books. Like, I think the agreement is you can refer to him as Captain Marvel in the comic. They just can't call the comic Captain Marvel. But this was so long ago that this court decision or whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might even be before I was born.
You wonder if they got appeal on that, if they could overturn it.
While I can understand the problems, I don't care, because it's like they decided it so long. Like, if they did that today, I'd be like, wait a second, But, and it's a court thing. It's like, I don't necessarily have as big of a problem when the courts force you onto something. It's if DC was like, no, we don't want to call him Captain Marvel because Marvel's dumb, so we're gonna call him Shazam. I'd be like, shut up. Yeah, I would be. That's a stupid creative decision.
I don't know. When I first heard the word Shazam, I was like, what do you mean, like Shazam? I was like, is it like that, or is it like just Shazam? Because
it does have an exclamation point at the end.
I know. It's just saying. It's just. I'm shocked with all the flips going on. We don't have a black Captain Marvel. What's that all about? We
had one.
Who was it?
Monica Rambeau. No, we had.
I meant like in DC. Chili Bats.
Oh, I thought wasn't one of the Shazam family black?
Maybe I said I don't.
In the movie, there's for sure a black character.
I know there's
I know for sure in the movie.
Freddie, Mary, and Billy. But apart from that, I don't really know. Like little girl, like I don't remember her.
But I guess that's not technically still a black Captain Marvel. You mean like you're surprised that we haven't gotten a main line like Billy Batson being like Billy Blackson. You mean like
Billy Blackson?
Not even Billy Batson being black. Just having another character like look what they're doing with Spider-Man. They're gonna have Ben Reilly take over again. I'm surprised they don't have another character they're introducing to take over the role.
Oh, yeah. You opened the can of worms. Okay, so screw Captain Marvel. No one cares about Captain Marvel. Spider-Man. Marvel just announced. Not only, we know Nick Spencer is leaving Amazing Spider-Man. It sounds like he's left Marvel on like short notice. Like, I don't think that he, said, "Hey, I'm after these 6 issues, I'm out," like type of thing. It was like, I'm done. See ya.
He's like, "Hey, man, this thing's burning. I'm leaving."
Yeah, because he's for those of you that don't know, he's gone to this new company called Substack and doing like online publishing. I don't know all the details of this, but he's doing something over there. So he's gone from Marvel. Boom, gone. Okay, fine. I don't care. I don't like Nick Spencer anyway. So it doesn't bother me. But Marvel's now left hanging in the wind, and they have to do a Spider-Man title because it's Amazing Spider-Man. And they've just recently announced that there's a whole team of writers taking over for Nick Spencer, including Kelly Thompson. Ahmed. What's his name? Ahmed. Saladin Ahmed. Saladin Ahmed.
Yeah.
God, there's a whole team of them. I don't have it in front of me.
Zeb Wells, who wrote Avenging Spider-Man, that got canceled. Who basically has been known for the past 10 years, 20, 10 years for writing Robot Chicken scripts. You'd see, He did this. That. Yeah, he was in charge of writing like scripts for that show. He didn't do voice acting, but yeah.
Well, a lot of the writers at Marvel these days are
Robot Chicken versions of.
I don't want to say failed TV writers, but they're not writing TV anymore.
Look at Coates.
For some reason.
Coates was never like really a comic writer. He was more like a movie guy.
No, Coates? No. Coates is a propagandist writer for The Atlantic.
I was saying, he thought he did some movie stuff too, didn't he? Under his belt.
Yeah, well, he dabbles in he writes novels. He's probably been on scripts. He is a race baiting hustler that has used his politics and his race to get involved in pretty much every genre of writing because people want to be he hasn't achieved anything on merit as far as I'm aware. That's my personal opinion.
Well, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I think RDV, one of the things that you're referring to with Ta-Nehisi Coates is that J.J. Abrams had tapped him to write that Black Superman story.
Oh, no, there was that, but I thought he was writing like TV series 2s and stuff like that, you know? A lot of them they'll write on guns for CW or some other show or HBO. Or,
John Ridley had the dude that's like tearing apart like the history of DC Comics and everything. He had written some stuff for television and stuff. I think some movie things.
Oh, there's news right there. Look at that. The Winchesters. Jensen Ackles is coming back to do another prequel to the series.
Wow.
I thought that was done because they said we're not canceling the show. We're just taking a pause. That's the new thing. Everybody we're taking a pause. But
so, I wasn't really trying to do that.
No.
That was beside that was behind the scenes information that I wasn't trying to change the subject to. I'm trying to find the Spider-Man story, and wouldn't you know it that Comic Book Resources has nothing to say.
It was CBR. CBR is where I saw it though.
Has nothing to say in the comic news about this because CBR doesn't do comic stuff. Like they're just the most worthless.
Here, I'll get you the link.
What is the? I hate to go to this. Bleeding Cool, but as bad as Bleeding Cool is, they usually have info.
Here, CBR. I got it right here. I'm gonna post it in the Discord for you. If it lets me do the link.
God, you guys all need to, not you on the chat, like these journalists, they all need to turn in their journalist cards because Spider-Man, this is big news that literally came from Marvel, and none of the big comic websites have this. Are you serious?
All right, I just posted a link in the live stream chat part.
Let me go to the parody site.
CBR, I found the article right away. Yep. Cody Ziegler is I guess the artist. Well, Patrick Gleason still got a job. So I was another I thought about. Why would they bring like Zeb Wells? Because like that was one of the artists I thought about. Like, well, that's who they have left. Who's written before, but like, I mean, Avenging Spider-Man was the only thing I know it's for was basically just that's where they introduced Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers in the suit, in number 9. Other than that, like the series is like out of my mind. I don't remember anything.
All right, so let me get back to the story here. So, Spider-Man, Nick Spencer's gone. They've announced Kelly Thompson, Saladin Ahmed, Cody Ziegler, Patrick Gleason, and Zeb Wells. 5-person writing team for Amazing Spider-Man. Retarded, absolutely retarded. But Marvel, just when you think Marvel can't go more retarded, they're like, hold my beer. We're also getting rid of Peter Parker.
Sir, we can't use that word. You have to use mentally.
No, I'm using that word. It's retarded. So Ben Reilly, who's been gone because they canceled Scarlet Spider like a couple years back. He's now going to take over. He's going to be the Amazing Spider-Man. What do you guys think of that?
It's the 90s. I saw it happening with the Miles Morales Clone Saga. I figured something's going to happen again because we've already seen the Clone Saga come back 3 times now. I mean, why wouldn't Ben Reilly just come back again, and take over? I mean, like Brino was talking to me, he's like behind the scenes like a couple hours ago. He said, you know what's going to happen? I guarantee it, but like the 100th issue or how many issues they get to, you're going to see Miles take over as Spider-Man. You're not even going to see Peter Parker in the universe. You're just going to see Miles.
No, you're going to see Ben Reilly, who essentially is Peter Parker.
But I'm just saying, you're going to see Miles Morales take over as Spider-Man. You're not even going to see Ben Reilly anymore. You're just going to get rid of Spider-Man, just have Miles. That's their ultimate goal.
Well, that you bring up a good point there because apparently it's not just Ben Reilly taking over. Peter Parker is going to die.
Yep.
So I think you could make a strong speculation case here that Marvel wants to kill Peter Parker, but if they just instantly replaced him with Miles, you might see a lot of people cry foul and be like, whoa, time out. What is this? But if you replace him with Ben Reilly, then it's sort of like, it's kind of like putting some lube on so it's not as uncomfortable. It's like, okay, well, Ben Reilly is essentially Peter Parker's clone. He's almost exact same thing. But then later down the road, when you get rid of Ben Reilly, people aren't going to be upset replacing Ben Reilly with Miles Morales as they would replacing Peter. And they've already used to Peter Parker being dead. Right?
Ben Reilly is going to do the mentor thing to Miles, and then Miles is going to take over because something's going to happen. He's going to lose an arm or a leg like he did in the MC2.
I don't know. This to me just seems. It's almost like DC and Marvel are playing the stupidity wars. Like over at DC, they're like, "Hey, we're going to turn Batman. We're going to change his race." And that sounds like a great idea. We're going to replace Batman. Bruce Wayne's going to be this other guy that no one's really ever heard of. He's going to be Batman. That sounds good. And then Marvel's like, whoa. We're going to replace Spider-Man. And it's just, what are you guys doing?
When is the last movie coming out with Tom Holland? Because that's my thought. They would do that after Tom Holland's, Spider-Man's no longer in the movies.
I'm going to tell you something true.
They would replace him with Miles.
I'm not necessarily a Miles Morales fan. But if you're going to do this, I would just rather you have Miles Morales be Spider-Man. I think this Ben Reilly thing is just retarded. The whole clone of Spider-Man thing, it's so overstayed its welcome, in my opinion. When Ben Reilly was Scarlet Spider, I was like, okay, fine. You've got the Scarlet Spider fans. He's kind of a D-list character. You can have, it's like Alpha Flight. I always just tolerated it. I was like, whatever. Alpha Flight fans like Alpha Flight. They're just doing their thing. That's fine. Yeah. But now if you're going to turn Ben Reilly into the Amazing Spider-Man and you're going to kill, like, no. That's not, now that's stupid. Now that's not cool. You already have Miles Morales, who's they're celebrating this 10th anniversary. Yeah. If you're going to do this, just have Miles Morales do what he did in his own universe, which was replace Spider-Man.
Yeah, they did. And it turned out that Peter wasn't dead. But he quit being Spider-Man. He left the reins over to Miles because he wanted to spend time with Mary Jane.
Wait a second. He didn't die? I thought he died.
He thought he died, but it turned out he was alive.
Oh my God, it's so stupid.
That was Bendis. He pulled a Superman.
What? I did not know this. I thought Peter Parker actually died.
That's what I thought too. So I was reading, I was like,
oh, I should have known better that Bendis would have to make it stupid.
But my thought is, like, in the 90s, when they had Ben took over temporarily as Spider-Man, I wasn't reading it when it was coming out. But everybody told me it was stupid because they wanted Peter back. They're sick of this. The only reason Ben was taking over as Spider-Man is because Mary Jane was pregnant and Peter was going to be with her. He wanted to be a father. He can't do this anymore. And since Ben's right there, let him do it.
All right. Speaking of pregnant, listen to this.
Miles?
The story just keeps getting worse and worse. So blah, blah, blah. All these writers will join this team writing. Amazing Spider-Man will also become a thrice monthly title. 3 times a month.
Yes.
It's going as Ben Reilly brings with the Beyond Corporation with him. What the who cares?
Batman Beyond? I don't know.
So not only are we not getting the Spider-Man we want, not only are we getting this team of misfit writers, we're going to get 3 a month? Like, Marvel's just, I'm telling you, dude. Is there anyone in the audience? Is there anyone that thinks this is a good idea? I mean, to me, this is absurd and stupid, and I just want to throw tomatoes at Marvel. But obviously, my opinion's not the only one. Does anyone like this idea? Is anyone like, hey, cool, I'm excited for this?
I'm not excited. I am a Ben Reilly fan, but like to bring him back like this is dumb. But I will read the first issue just to see how cringy it is. Because I always like to do that. I also see, like, okay, how can they make it worse? Like, because obviously we could speculate our own mind, but I want to see how much of what I actually think is going to happen comes true. So I'll read the first issue.
I don't expect this is going to be cringy. I expect this is just going to be dumb.
Oh, this is Marvel. When they don't like my boy anymore. As you can tell, they killed him off and replaced him with a clone.
Well, certain books, when they put like Vita Ayala on a book or something, and the title, let's say they go, we're going to do a new X title that's about a bunch of kids who are cosplaying as X-Men. Those all add up to me to go, oh my God, this is going to be cringe. This just seems incompetent. It seems like too many chefs in the kitchen. It seems like, oh God, we don't have a Spider-Man writer for issue 75 because our Spencer jumped ship. Scramble. What do we do? Get these guys, chip in. Well, and it just,
yeah. I would love to have a Spider-Man title 3 times a week, or a month, maybe it'd be kind of cool. But if it's a good story, though, it's just something I want to read. This is just garbage. You basically took the Alex Ross costume from Superior Spider-Man. I don't care for that, and there's no reason for Ben Reilly to be back. Ben Reilly, they did do a miniseries that it was an alternate ending to the Clone Saga where he left. He was like, he didn't die. That's fine because it wasn't part of anything. It was separate. This screams like, okay, did this guy come? Is this an Elseworld story? Is this supposed to, why is it in the main title?
This is
it's just why is it the main title? It should not be the main title. If you're gonna Ben Reilly taking over Spider-Man, it should be an Elseworld, and you should have kept the freaking Ultimate Universe or the multiverses. This is dumb. Like I said, I guarantee though, it's still gonna sell because people want Spider-Man and they like it. They're getting Spider-Man 3 times a week now. It's like whether they like the original versions or not, this will still sell. Like I said, I probably might fly up to Jolly Roger just to see it, every once in a while how it's doing, but it's not something I really get excited about because I would rather Ben Reilly, bring it back in the blue freaking hoodie. Give me nostalgia at least.
The whole point of working on Spider-Man is to try to put new unliftable weights on top of him. Physical, metaphysical, emotional, psychological, and seeing if he can lift them. But what if that weight truly is too heavy? What if someone with the exact same skills in formative years could do better? Ben Reilly is back, and with Aunt May and Uncle Ben's lessons in the back of his mind as well. He's here to step in where Peter Parker failed. Can he accomplish things the original Spider-Man never could? These questions are what sold me on the story, editor Nick Lowe said about this new era of Amazing Spider-Man. That's why you should be fired.
Nick Lowe is the reason why Spider-Man's been sucking because he's been an editor.
God, Stan Lee is rolling over in his grave right now.
Chris Seda didn't have this crap, when he was controlling everything else. I mean, is this...
Hey, guess what? You don't have to worry about One More Day being fixed.
Yeah.
Because now Peter's going to be dead. You don't have to worry about him being with Mary Jane. Or now, what if... No. What if Ben Reilly now can hook up with Mary Jane? Yeah.
Only Peter. Mary Jane's like, works for me.
Peter's dead, and so she can have the whole relationship over again, and we can see the courtship now of Ben Reilly and Mary Jane. Won't that be exciting?
What if it's not really Ben Reilly itself? It's just Peter Parker undercover.
Or what if we can find out now, the thing that we can kind of tell that Marvel's been wanting to do forever, turn Peter Parker gay. Well, now it's Ben Reilly. I think they have a lot more freedoms, right?
Can you imagine if this was we're reading into it wrong, that it's actually Peter Parker was killed and he gets to stay undercover, so now he's took the name Ben Reilly. And yeah, Spider-Man's around, but nobody knows that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. The world, Peter Parker's dead.
When Zeb Wells started building the story, it became apparent that it needed a narrative velocity and a team of the best to make it happen. So we gathered some of the greatest writers and artists in comics to join us, and the story got even better and bigger and more surprising, Lowe added. Are you fucking kidding me? You got Kelly Thompson and Saladin Ahmed. I don't even know who Cody Ziegler is, but he sounds like a porn star.
He might be the artist.
Because
if they have two different artists, it's two different writers, so they must have two different artists. Maybe there's gonna be backup stories in there.
Yeah, that's a problem too. By the way, when you do not just thrice monthly, but when you do bi-weekly titles, the artists can't do it. And that's one of the reasons I hate bi-weekly titles. You just do a monthly comic. If Spider-Man is so popular that you can sell more than one a month, that's why you have like Spectacular Spider-Man and Web of Spider-Man and do that. But when you just take one and you like, let's do a weekly book and it's got 4 different artists and like that, who wants that? It never works. And there's always someone who's going to disagree. There's always someone who's going to be like, no, Ash, that's my favorite. And that's okay. I can't argue. Everyone likes different things, but overall, in general, it's kind of a failed concept. And
okay, they do explain Cody Ziegler is that bottom of that end of the paragraph. So I don't know if you're gonna read the whole thing, but
as Cody Ziegler is a new name in comics, but the work he did for the upcoming Disney Plus She-Hulk show, and Rick and Morty showed us at Marvel that he is part of the next generation of Marvel superstar writers. And
so we're getting
disappointed here.
Are we getting a feminist version of Rick and Morty for Spider-Man?
What we're getting is a failed TV writer. And this is a big problem, by the way, in comics that I've been wanting to talk about. The comic book industry has this weird love obsession with TV and movie writers as if they're like the superstars. And so what happens is if you are in Hollywood, if you write for TV, you can almost like name your ticket over at comics. Because you go, oh, I want to write a Marvel comic. Oh, you want to write a Marvel comic? Oh, go. We'll roll out the red carpet for you. And the problem is they get a lot of these people from the industry that don't have a history in comics. They aren't necessarily even comic fans.
Yeah,
they're writers of some level because obviously they're writing TV shows and stuff. But I mean, like, look at the Christopher Cantwell shit. Like,
so basically, my gist is like these guys have no knowledge whatsoever. They don't do any research whatsoever. They ask, "Who's this character?" And then somebody who doesn't even read comics gives them an answer, and like, okay, we'll go with that. Like a really summarized, like, "Who's Dr. Doom?" He's this angry overlord guy who, he's very toxic masculinity, So all right, so I'll write him as is less toxic. We'll make him more nicer. It's like, I don't know. It's like I said. It's the point where I don't trust Marvel to bring my boy back at all, man.
So Melissa brings a good point. That she says they're planning off to kill Doctor Strange too. So now we're getting Doctor Strange killed and Peter Parker killed.
Ooh, one of it's part of Spencer's storyline where he dies at the end, and they're like, "Oh crap, what do we do?"
No, that's a good question, but I think it said up here in the article that they was hinting at Kelly Thompson was
because there was a
which of course Kelly Thompson.
Someone's killing the spiders.
I am not impressed with Kelly Thompson, and a lot of people I talk to seem to disagree with me. Like, oh no, Kelly Thompson's great, and I'm like, what has she written great? Nothing. Like,
I like the Black Widow series. It's been fun, and I think Juddy K's doing the Black Cat.
Is that the same series where they turned?
It was canceled. The which one? Black Cat.
Where was the series that they turned? What's his name? Taskmaster into like a total dweeb. Where he was like so afraid of Black Widow, like she was lying on the ground unconscious at his feet. And he was like,
wasn't that his series, the Taskmaster book?
It might have
been. It was. It wasn't Kelly Thompson because he wasn't in there. No,
I don't remember who wrote that. It could have Kelly Thompson could have wrote that for all I remember. Yeah, but I think it was his Taskmaster series.
I just read like 3 pages of that, and I was like, oh my god, what the hell is this? Like, it was so cringe that he's just like, oh, there she lies. She might get up at any moment. Oh, and he like run. I was like, what? This is a guy who took on the Avengers by himself.
Well, now he's taking on her in the movie.
Probably not Kelly Thompson, because as far as like my
actually, it
critiques-
was Jed McKay who's writing Black Cat.
Yeah.
that explains things.
But it's weird though, because like in the Black Cat thing, it hasn't been cringe like I would expect it to. The first series I read like a couple issues of it, yeah, it was cringe. But like since it came back, they relaunched it with the #1 stuff. It's been doing pretty well. It's
I know.
average at best. It's not great.
I don't read Kelly Thompson because she doesn't seem to impress me, but I did read her West Coast Avengers, and that was horrid stuff. So I don't have a huge,
Well, we don't all read our comic books with our pinkies out, okay?
Well, I don't have a huge sample size of her work, but people argue with me and go, no, Kelly Thompson's good. I'm like, explain this West Coast Avengers, because it's not even just kind of bad. It was god awful, embarrassing bad.
Well, same how Gail Smoke can write a great book, Birds of Prey back in the day, and then change it into right shit today.
Yeah, I never read this mythical Birds of Prey book that apparently she did, but
Ed Benez covers the cheesecake. Good.
I can actually say though I have read a good Gail Simone book. One issue I didn't continue reading, and I was like, oh shit! If I didn't know this was Gail Simone, I would have never guessed, because it was good. It was one of the books that she did. What company was it? Lion Forge. It was like that 7.
Well,
I forget what it was.
Here's a question: do you like Black Widow in the MCU?
She's all right. Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of what
cool.
you're getting with Kelly Thompson. That kind of version of her.
Yeah, she's
where people
fine.
aren't scared of her, people usually underestimate her. That's the thing, and she uses that to her advantage. And plus she uses her years of training. And so as far as like your gadgets.
Well, my thing about Kelly Thompson is like she seemed to fit a lot of the tropes that people make fun of with writers that are similar to her, where it's like a bunch of people sitting around eating and drinking and chit-chatting, and it's more of like a sitcom episode, not a comic book.
Yeah, Black Widow is nothing like that though.
Okay, well, I don't know. I haven't read it.
I was just saying, you ever watched Long Kiss Goodbye?
Yeah.
If you like stuff like that, that's basically what her first arc is, kind of like that. In that sense, it actually made sense. How this woman's be able to do this. It's not overkill, but I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, it makes sense for her for the way she does stuff. But I do like you're getting the widespread panels. It's you just basically follow her around her own, just kicking the crap out of people, and then you follow it to the end, and it shows you where you're going. I mean, I love widespread stuff when you have action like that. It's basically like you remember Spider-Man has the after image stuff. When he does stuff, not really after image, but you see him when he does a flip here, he lands on the building, then jumps again. You can follow him. It's kind of the same art, and I haven't seen that in since early 2000s or before that, late 80s. So it was refreshing to see the art in here, and that's not Kelly Thompson. That's just the artist. I'm trying to remember who the artist is on the book though, but yeah, it's been really good. I've been enjoying it. The artist Elena Casagrande has been doing the art on the Black Widow with Kelly Thompson. Like I said, it surprised me because when everybody tells me like, "Oh, your books suck" and all stuff, and I read this, I was like, well, then again, people do copy things from movies. Hollywood does it all the time, so. But
So I went to the comic book store today because Thursdays is now my new comic book day.
What?
So these are the books I picked up. I think it's a pretty good week for me, even though it's not a large week. I don't like talk about Usagi Yojimbo because it's not one of those books that has like this ongoing saga where you're like, oh my god, twists and turns, and it's not like like Walking Dead would have, or Invincible or something. It's not like, it's just every issue is kind of its own thing, and it's just a fun little story. But this consistently is just such a fun book. But Undiscovered Country is back from hiatus. I'm excited to get back into that book. And then, of course, one of my favorite books, Ascender. And then Beckstar from friend Joe Corallo. Picked up the second issue. Did you guys get anything fun at the comic book store?
I'm pulling it up on my Instagram. It's awesome. I don't know. I asked your buddy over here. I don't think he is. What are you buying, Skip? Are you buying anything anymore?
Skip buys lots of stuff.
Yeah. I bought a image book named Vinyl that it was new. I still haven't gotten a chance to read it yet, but the premise was like a kind of like a hippie commune kind of cult, mixed with some music dealings and music industry dealings, and seems like some dude who kind of like end of his rope type of scenario. So I got that. I also got Chariot #4 by Brian Edward Hill, and I got Stray Dogs #5, and I was able to get the Friday the 13th variant cover.
Now you got all the Stray Dogs books, don't you?
Yes.
So I heard apparently Stray Dogs #1, a 9.8 slab version went on eBay for $410, and a raw copy of #1, just not slabbed, sold for $150.
Oh, I'm
this is a
hot
hot
put that thing.
book.
Wow.
So if you've got a really good condition #1, I'm not telling you to sell it, but maybe
I'm gonna sell it because I wanted to get the third printing because it. Well, nah. Well, I mean that's good advice. The only thing, CGC is so behind. It's taking like 6 months to get books back. So I'll sell it raw though. I mean I paid $4 for it. Like I'll turn around and just let it go. And the third printing, they redid the Scream, the cover for the movie, the slasher movie Scream from the 90s. And I like that cover better anyway.
They're doing the really cool like movie posters covers now for the reprints.
Mm-hmm.
They did that Friday the 13th one for one of the issues. I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
I like whole bunch covers of that. If you're doing like a book and then you actually do like movie covers, sometimes that's cool.
Yeah, when you can thematically pull it off, like Deceased did that really well in the first Deceased series. I mean, it can get old quick if everyone just like, let's do it all the time, but Deceased pulled off well, and the Stray Dogs covers are doing it cool. One thing I like about the Stray Dogs covers, they're doing a really good facsimile of the movie poster, but then you got somewhere inserted in there is like those cartoony dogs. So it's kind of a cool contrast. I like to see.
Are they playing poker?
No, this is the Don Bluth kind of dogs, not.
Oh.
Anyways, that just thought I would mention that, Skip. Don't spill any water on that issue.
I promise I won't. I'm gonna go actually dig it up right now because I'll throw that thing up on eBay tomorrow.
Yeah, that's just what I heard over on Lost in Comics stream tonight. They were talking about that. I was like, what? That's some crazy speculation.
Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, I did see that it went into third printing, but like part of like in my mind, sometimes I'm like, so because I've seen the same thing happen with Layla Starr and like quite a bit, like Good Asian. I saw that happen with that book as well, and I'm like, I'm wondering if they're intentionally ordering like printing 3,000 less copies. And then like just having so few out there that it forces gets them closer to constituting a second printing. So just the fact that they're going into a second printing and a third printing is occurring, so the perception is that much stronger on how successful the books are. I hate that I'm skeptical like that, but that's some of the practices that we've seen in the comic book industry. So, but apparently with this one, that's not the case. So that's pretty cool.
All right. Well, I got my screen sharing. If you want, I only have a couple books.
There you go. Got Venkman's stuff up here. Your Instagram. So anyone wants to follow RDV on Instagram, it looks like real Dr. Venkman.
Yep.
Go follow him. See lots of pictures of scantily clad women.
I got cats in there too, and some other stuff,
Mm.
comic books. No, but I saw this today. No, that was there. I just said today, but on Wednesday they had this is book 3. He didn't have book 2, the first 2, so I'm gonna have to probably see online if I can order the first 2 issues of that. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of the Sumerian, fraud, the books, out for this.
I think it's so funny that Marvel like paid whatever they're paying. I don't know what their contract is, but like to get Conan back. But Conan is in the apparently open, domain. So there's other companies just like doing Conan called the Sumerian. It's like
and you got this is Robin Reck. It's probably butchering his last name, but he's French, I believe. Does the art and the writing on the inside. That's the one thing that's great about these titles here. It's the writer is also the artist. So it's so you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and like the interior art's pretty good.
I love when a writer and artist can be the same person and they're actually skilled at both. Such a rare thing, but like, when it can happen, like John Byrne, Walt Simonson, Frank Miller, there's not a whole lot of them out there, but man, when they're good, it's like that. They can accomplish things that like a separate writer artist team. It's very difficult for them to do.
So I got it's the last issue of Red Sonja. I don't looks like they're coming out with a different Red Sonja series after this, but the last one, the 25 through 28 is pretty much everyone. It's Luke Luber that took over after Mark Russell, and you saw a crazy improvement in the book. But
why does Dynamite have to keep rebooting Red Sonja? I don't get it.
Well, it's like Marvel. I'm just glad there's no legacy numbers. But like, tell me
if you're gonna keep rebooting, I would like you to have legacy numbers.
You know what? Don't do legacy numbers. Don't do reboot. If you're gonna reboot, just put the volume number up here. This is volume number 4. So when I go to buy it later on, I go look for it. Which 28 is this? Is this 28 from 5 years ago? This year? Because they don't put the freaking date on there. And most of the time the books are inside a bag.
I hate that too. Volume numbers would be another welcome thing, but I mean, I would like legacy numbers because that helps you collect. Like if you're a Red Sonja fan, you want to collect all the Red Sonja books. Those legacy numbers you'd be able to track. I'm missing legacy number 120. Like, look, it's not a perfect solution. I would rather just not reboot. Just keep numbering it. Just keep doing Red Sonja books. Just keep the numbering going. But
I had the same problem like 2 days ago. I was putting them away. I'm like, wait, I don't have 2. Oh, that's right, the variants. I couldn't. But I also have it mixed in with other runs, so I had to make sure I had the right ones in the correct order. But moving on, number 19, The Adventures of Vampirella. That's it's continuing the same. Now this is the same writer from like back in the 90s. That's the reason he's continuing his story, and it's not like he didn't get woke. I was so pleasantly surprised. I was like, usually that's what happens. Like you're going to continue a story because the story ended with her dying in the first half. That was back in the 90s. This is her coming back and this basically like fighting against Nyx, the goddess of death, chaos. She's a daughter, So there was only 25 issues in the first run, so I'm assuming there's only 25 this time. But it's been a fun story. So, and I always get the Lucio Perel stuff. You go on Instagram. This guy, it's Lucio Perel art right here. And just look at his stuff on Instagram. The way he paints it like, actually on a board, and he does the cylinder and stuff. Just the way he does everything is just like, wow. I appreciate for like for an artist. That's the first thing we're gonna watch. And then I got this one. They got this cover, Spawn's Universe. I'm going to read this tomorrow. I've been reading some other books.
I thought about picking that up just out of curiosity. I'm not a big Spawn person anymore.
Yeah, same here.
Not because I think it's stupid or anything. I'm a big Todd McFarlane fan. I got all the original Spawns and back in the day. It's just more of what the character's doing and what it's about just isn't my cup of tea. So I kind of dipped out. I was like, you know what? Spawn's not for me anymore. And that's fine. It's totally fine. I'm not negative to. In fact, I absolutely adore Todd McFarlane, and I love what he's doing. I love that Spawn books are $2.99. Absolutely go support Spawn. And it goes to show that I was thinking about getting this book, and I just sort of backed off because I was like, no, what's the point of getting it? Because I'd be satisfying my curiosity, but I still don't have a desire to really get back into Spawn.
The reason I got it, because I usually don't read Spawn, but I was like, it's a nice cover, and my thing is like, it's what if he decides to put a character in here that takes off? Just this one shot here.
I thought about that. I thought about that too, but I don't speculate anymore. Like,
yeah, but that was the only reason. I mean, but
and it was $5.99. But I gotta say, I flipped through it. The main story, that's through this is like a 48 pages, and it's Chung. What's his name? Chung. God, what's his name?
Something. Tag him? Oh, tag here. That's what he did. It's a.
What's the artist, guys?
Chung Yaley or something.
Jim Chung or. He's a DC artist. He used to be.
Yeah.
He used to do Justice League.
Chang.
Oh, gosh, you should know. You got the book.
I don't know the artist in the interior. I just got the book because, like I said, cheesecakes are.
Sorry, my brain is like liquid Biden.
But like I said,
I gotta look.
I thought this might be a starting point. You know, if I might get into Spawn, I might pick up in August King Spawn.
Oh, that's
maybe
right.
This. Yeah, so
Sorry,
maybe this.
Let me pause you one sec. Jim Chung was his name, and I gotta say, beautiful art. Jim Chung's art on the main story, and it's like 48 pages. So the $5.99 price was a little bit of like, whoa. But the overall book is like 60 something pages, and it's got at least three stories in it. And the first one is like 48 pages. So you, again, just to praise McFarlane and what he's doing, he does not shortchange the fans. So if you at all are halfway interested in Spawn or whatever, this seems like a no-brainer pickup. Chung's art doing Spawn is fantastic. But anyways, continue.
All right, and then the final book I got was this one right here. Got the Liefeld variants. I love the costume, but I agree, it looks weird.
I don't like modern Liefeld. It's so weird to say.
I know.
You know, he's definitely improved, like in his anatomy, and he can draw feet now. But it lacks that certain thing. Like, it feels boring. His old art was like crazy and not good, but it was like exciting. It was like, I can't really explain it, and it's so weird. I'm like, you need to go back, Rob. I feel like you're trying too hard to be fit within some sort of borders or something that people
this
are variant
cover. This variant cover is shared by two artists. Brian Valenza has been doing the variant arts with him on every book you see coming out. Even the Iron, I've been noticed that.
My guess would be he's probably doing the finishes.
Maybe
Rob's probably doing this because look at these colors. It almost looks like it's almost painted colors.
Yeah. But the reason I really picked this, I've been picking this up because it's the Louise Simonson with Walt Simonson doing the art in the interior. I said this. It's just I've never read a book that was bad by Walt Simonson Louise has done stuff on her own, but like I've never experienced where it's like the Claremont where it's like, well, this is crap.
Well, Louise Simonson used to edit Chris Claremont on X-Men. She used to be his editor.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's got the credentials. Let's just say she's back in those times, and she was and back those days, editors were almost like contributing writers.
And I thought this post was so ridiculous too.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
I don't even know.
I was like, whatever, Is
Deadpool in the book?
No, it's just 30. It's the 30th anniversary of Deadpool.
Oh, okay. So that's one of those.
That's why you're seeing. I've been buying all these Deadpool variants, like the Captain America annual, the Iron Man annual.
I don't like that Marvel does that. I kind of understand it, but it's kind of annoying.
I'm glad it's not the Marvel zombie variants or the Alien variants. Heck, if this was I'd rather have a Mary Jane X-Men Legends variant. Where's that crap at?
It annoys me because you look at the you go on the shelf, you're like, oh, badass, Wolverine and Daredevil, or sorry, Daredevil, Wolverine and Deadpool. Like, I want to get this. You like open it up, has nothing to do with it. You're like totally misled. Like,
yeah.
Oh well.
Like I agree. If you're gonna have a variant edition, the variant should still have another character. It has something to do with the story. Like even the Red Sonjas, their variants, the Red Sonja, they're not throwing people in there who aren't in there. But like this would be like when I said like the variant like this, like this was a stock variant. I would have thought this would have been like 1 in 50, because it makes it harder to find it. Or the person who's going to read it, buy it, they're not going to go looking for the 1 in 50 variant. They're going to go for the normal one because
That's true.
That's what I understood. Like I was surprised that these Liefeld ones were like stock variants, but
All right.
yeah, this is what I got. Yep, and I don't know if you want to talk about the Nightwing stuff, but that's up to you.
Nightwing?
Nightwing number 81. What Tom Taylor did to Nightwing.
I don't know. I don't read Nightwing, and I don't read Tom Taylor. So it's like.
You remember? Was it Tony Zuko, the one that killed his parents? There's apparently some mayor of Bloodhaven, or I don't know if she's the mayor, but she's supposed to be the daughter of him. And Nightwing went to go confront her and stuff, and then she reveals like, I'm not Zuko's daughter, I'm your sister. Dun dun dun. Yeah, it's true. Yep. That's
Nightwing has a sister.
He has a sister.
Oh, so exciting!
Right here.
Are they doing it?
That's from the 81. That's the one that came out this week. Nightwing 81, Tom Taylor. As you can see, I kind of ranted a little bit. I said it's lazy storytelling. It's cringeworthy. It's like I don't know. Is he?
Are they in a romantic relationship?
No, they weren't. They were better enemies. But it's Dick with boobs.
So how does this isn't even? I didn't even want to ask a question. This is Tom Taylor. Is it? Whatever.
Well, Mark, as I point out, I think comic here, I said Mark Waid took was the original one created Teresa Parker, pulled that out of his behind.
So you think that Batman, the world's greatest detective, might know that if Dick Grayson had a sibling?
And if he did know, I want Nightwing to confront him, be like, "Hey, you son of a! Why didn't you tell me I had a sister?"
There's no way Batman didn't know this.
Yeah.
There's no like that. No. This is just dumb. This is DC stupidity.
It's fan fiction. It's you look at anybody where it's fan fiction. It's like Rick Grimes' long sister comes in to save the day. What? He's not a freaking sister. It's just. Ugh.
Yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of stuff that's currently in the books these days is fan fiction.
That's what I mean. It's like, is Tom reading fan fiction, or is he was reading, hey, look over what Mark Waid did. People liked it. Teresa Parker. I'm going to create one for Dick. My theory, though, is that Dick, remember he got shot in the head. Maybe he's hallucinating. It's all part of his subconscious. But I don't know, Skip. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems pretty silly. With Batman literally has the title of the greatest detective in the world, and that doesn't mean that he knows everything. Of course, yeah, we could say that, but this is one of the closest people to him in his life. Through many years of his life. And so, yeah, it just doesn't ring true that something like that would be the case. I mean, and even if we wanted to try to point out some emotional beats, like, what happened to the Grayson family was so traumatic. Bruce never looked farther into it to see if there was ever any other siblings, but I mean, and I guess they could probably try to take the angle of, well, the father was in another marriage before he married the mother, so it's a sister from another. Like, they could try to pull that whole angle, but there's nothing that in my mind that says that Bruce Wayne's morbid curiosity wouldn't lead him to finding out that definite answer at some point in time during Dick's life.
Yeah, because this is not
It's
something that would be super hidden, right? Like
Right.
this would just be like, oh, you have another sibling that's living with your grandmother or something. Like it just you Bruce Wayne pretty much adopted Dick Grayson. Like the paperwork alone that he would have had to go through, just going through the state to like let Grayson stay with his ward as his ward legally, and all this stuff. Like it would have just come across. Like
You
the
know what?
Flying Graysons had another kid, and then first of all, how if it's so secret, if it's so elusive, it's some crazy scenario like you kind of just pointed out, Skip. How would she know?
Right.
She would just go the rest of her life being like, I don't have like.
Here's how you solve this. You just say she's from a different Earth, different
No,
reality.
you can't. There is no different Earths anymore.
No, there is. There is. Flash, there is. There's still multiple Earths.
How do they have the Omniverse and have multiverse at the same time?
Don't ask me. Ask DC. There's Flash is
I don't.
Wally's currently taking over for Barry because Barry's joining multiverse Justice League team.
What?
Yes.
I just think that everyone at DC, like right now, DC doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Right? Like that right hand doesn't know what the left is doing. I think that's what's happening at DC right now. I think some of the books are like part of the 5G thing, and they're heading to Infinite Frontier, and then other books aren't affected by it. It seems like that's what's happening. Because you have like the Batman books. You have some Batman books where it's just still normal Batman story, and then you have other Batman books where it's the new Jace guy, and I'm just like, wait, what's going on here? You have like Wonder Woman books where it's Wonder Woman, but then the other Wonder Woman books, it's now who is it? It's like
Yara Flores.
No, isn't it like the Queen of the Amazons?
Nebula?
I can't even keep track anymore. It's just
Nebula is the black one, and then Hepatola was her mother.
Not Nebula, Nubia.
Or Nubia, sorry. It's Naomi, whatever you want to call her. It's the same crap. It's the same shit. No matter who you put in there, you're going to get the same crappy personality. They're clones, because they don't know how to do. They claim we're going to be diverse. Well, all you do is change the skin color, but you just make them all the same personality. All hate white people. That's pretty much comics today. But my thing is that apart from the fact, let's say maybe Bruce knew or whatever. Just get rid of that crap. Are you gonna say that his father is like Oliver Queen's father and was banging other women while he was married to his mom? Are you gonna blame? Obviously, they're gonna blame the dad. And say like, oh yeah, I know. Or are they gonna say like, well, mom, your dad was a deadbeat husband, so she met up with some other guy at the circus, and that's how I was born. Or did she bang Zuko?
I don't even know. I don't even. It just
how much can you piss over
problem. It just DC just makes me not want to care. They just turned, like in a matter of months, they just turned their universe into stupidity, and I just don't care. Like I guess maybe because I wasn't invested in DC long enough. I really only started diving in 2018 and becoming a fan. I was loving what DC was doing, whereas opposed to Marvel, like I grew up on Marvel. So I have an emotional investment. Like it makes me mad, but with DC, I'm just you all these years I wasn't a DC fan because I thought DC was dumb, and then you proved me wrong, only to be like 2 years later go, no, just kidding, we were really dumb. Like we're even more stupid than you possibly could have imagined that we are.
You know what? I give it a year, 6 months to a year. She's the new Nightwing. This is their whole plot.
I'm just curious on how long this can go on, Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm loving the new Infinite Frontier and all this stuff. And my thought is, yeah, but that's exactly what people were saying about New 52 in the beginning. People were loving New 52 when it, and about a year or two in, everyone was like, F this shit. This isn't the DC we like. Once the honeymoon phase is over, they wanted to go back to the traditional. And I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen DC here. But the other part of me goes, I don't know, because DC burned so many bridges with New 52. So many fans walked away that was like, screw this, DC. And Rebirth brought some of them back. Like, it was a literal like apology to the fans. Like, look, we understand. We're going to make the DC you want. And a lot of fans were like, okay, cool. Like, and it reminds me of like what Marvel did with the X-Men with like Hickman. It was like, oh, you're bringing it back. Okay. And you burn that bridge a second time, like Marvel's doing with the X-Men. At this point, I think you just get fans like, whatever. It doesn't matter what you do anymore because I don't trust you. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's kind of where I'm at with DC. I'm just like, people go, oh no, Ash, this new book is good. And I'm like, I just don't care anymore because DC's a bunch of liars. They're just, okay, so what? They're going to do a good book for a few months, and then they're going to go off and make it stupid, and they're going to cancel this and change this, and I don't want to get invested.
I hear you. It's the point where I don't care anymore, really, for certain things, Like, it's sad when I'm liking a Batman Fortnite over the main two titles. That should never happen. And Batman should always be great. This future state crap, it should be... Because all you're saying, you proved me in the future state, Batman dies. Now we got this other guy taking over. No, okay, well, you're doing the legacy crap, okay, which you said you weren't going to do. Now you're doing it. Why should I invest my money into your stuff? That's why I've gone more independent stuff. Imagine if Marvel would have never did. Don't give me crap, Skip. Okay, if they never would have done more day, I would not be buying DC. I would not be buying independent stuff. I would just be buying Spider-Man. I'd be content. So in a way, Marvel and DC shoot themselves in the balls. Pretty much made me go to other places, and I'm happy there. Occasionally, I look in and I'm like, "Oh, the fire's still burning." Oh, it's like that Silent Hill city that's really in Pennsylvania, the coal mine, still burning. That's Marvel and DC. I don't think it's ever going to go out. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. There's going to be people who are just going to die hard and buy stuff.
All right. Speaking of independent books, it is now time to get into a good independent book. This is one of my favorites. I think, to be quite honest, it's probably better enjoyed personally reading it yourself. I say that because I just don't feel confident that I'm a great enough presenter to do it justice. However, I wanted to read this because I am so enamored with the book, and I know it's going to go unnoticed because it's not being sold in stores. It's a Comixology original. The only way you're going to get it is buy it off Comixology digitally or be a subscriber to Comixology Unlimited, which I constantly recommend. It's $5.99 a month. You get unlimited access to all their unlimited library, plus every comic in the Comixology originals is part of that library. I've never read a Comixology original book until this one because I'm a Jeff Lemire fan. I was like, I want to check this out. And I read the first issue and I was like, oh, tell me more. Very much enjoy this. Lemire has a certain sense of pacing that I really like. And he also has a certain way of doing dialogue between characters that I like as well. And they kind of come across both here to form a group of characters that I'm invested in. And the pacing helps with this storyline, which is sort of a horror thriller, similar in style, if not exactly genre, as the Terminator, where they're sort of like being chased by this unkillable monster, and it's just how you're going to get away, and the pacing, it's really good. I love it. Jock is the artist. He's hit or miss as far as people's taste. I think he does great covers. Like, I love this cover, but his art is a very muddy kind of style, and so his interiors don't tend to do it for me as much. Some people love him, though. Obviously, you're going to have your own tastes. Skip, have you read any of this or listened to me read it?
No, neither.
Neither. Okay, so you're gonna be if you're gonna stick around, you're gonna be kind of thrown into the third book. There were 2 issues before this. Basically, the premise of the book is very simple. It's in what appears to be a post-apocalyptic world that's just an ice world, but that's just the appearance. I don't know. We've speculated maybe this is an alien world. We don't know. There's just a world. It's all snow. And there's this thing called the trench. And the people that live in this world have 3 rules about the trench. The trench goes on forever. You can't leave the trench or you'll wake the snowman who will kill everyone. And the
I
trench...
personally call him HK-47 from, you know.
He's kind of... Anyways, and so this father character, I don't think they've given him a name. He's just the father. He's got 2 daughters, 12 and 10, I think, approximately.
Somewhere around there. Or 9.
No, we know one is 12, and then there's a younger daughter, Milliken and May May, respectively. And once you turn 12, it's a big thing, and he takes their daughters out to go hunting. And when they return, they come to find that all the people of their village are dead. And this thing called the snowman apparently is real. This mythical thing that, you know, you say to scare the children, don't leave the trench, the snowman will get you. He's real, and they have to hide under these dead bodies. The snowman goes away, and they skate. They make a getaway the opposite direction of the trench. And where we're left off here at the end of the second issue is the snowman has caught up to them. But unfortunately, the father has taken a vicious bite to the leg from this wolf-type creature because they went through this forest that they're not supposed to go through, but they don't have a choice. And so now these 2 young girls are left with a father who's unconscious and bleeding out, and the snowman is on his way to murder
And then
everyone.
when he gets close to you, you hear the Frosty the Snowman jingle.
No. So here we are. This is Snow Angels number 3. And this is Comixology, not respond. There we go. Sorry. Pa, we have to go. Wake up, Daddy. He's coming. Millie, the snowman is coming. Wake up. Pa, he's almost here. Millie, get my bow. No, Pa, you can't kill him. We have to go. Listen to me, Millie. I'll only slow you down. You have to take May and go. No. Who knows? Maybe I'll get him. Then I can catch up to you. No, I won't leave you. Think of your sister. Do it for May May. Keep her safe. No. May, I think I have a better idea. I barely remember Mama. Sometimes I think I can remember her face smiling at me. Other times, most times, I think I'm just imagining that. Could be anyone's face. Might not even be her at all. I do remember worrying when Pa told me that I was going to have a brother or sister. I wanted it to stay just the 3 of us. Well, it did stay just the 3 of us, but not the way I imagined. Mama died having May. And now I think I might lose Pa, too. I didn't want to leave him there, but he made me. And I have to admit, stop right there, you son of a bitch. May's idea was actually pretty good. I said stop right there. I swear to God I'll shoot. Foot. grabs the arrow, snaps it off. Come on. Come on! Check. One of the first things Pa taught me was to never drill your ice fishing holes too close together. Weakens the ice. I guess May was paying attention after all. Sploosh. Except maybe her plan worked too good. Oh shit! Pa! Hold on! Hi, I'm okay. I'm okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Pa? Yes, May? Do you think the snowman can kill Mama now? What? Well, he went below the water, so maybe he can go to the spirit world with the Golden Ones and Mama and all the other dead people, and maybe he's gonna hurt them all too. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, Scrapweed. It might. It doesn't. Will you two ever stop fighting? Reminds me of me and Thomas. Who's Thomas, Pa? Nothing. Just tired. Pa, you okay? Zzz. Shh. Let him sleep. He needs his rest. Sorry, you're right. Millie? Yeah? You didn't really mean what you said this morning, did you? About the Golden Ones not being real? I don't know. I guess not. I mean, now we know the snowman is real, so... You think he's gonna come back? He's fish food by now, May. You don't need to worry, but I'm gonna keep watch just in case. You sleep here with Pa. Get some rest. Millie? What is it? Sorry I yelled at you today. Me too, Scrapweed. Now get some rest. And May? Yeah? That was a real good plan you had. Milligan takes watch. Falls asleep. Zzz. Milligan! Oh, that was the dad. I hate when this is the part when you read panel by panel. It's hard to you don't know who's talking. Milligan! Time to go. What are you doing sleeping out here? You must have almost frozen last night. Was keeping watch. We let you sleep a bit. Thanks. Daddy, is your leg sore? Yes, very, but I'll be fine. We need to keep going. Can we go back to the village now, Pa? No. Too many ghosts there. And I still don't want to risk going back. But isn't the snowman dead, Daddy? I think we better keep going. But we don't know what's down here. No one's ever gone this far. Now they have. Pa taught us a new word today. Uncharted. It means there are no maps for the places we're skating to. So May has decided to start a new one. She's always been better at drawing pictures than me anyhow, so I let her do it. Each day that passes, every stride I take, I realize I'm the first girl to ever skate here. Wish all them men at the village were alive now so they could see me. don't know if you can hear my dog.
Oof.
Seriously, she drinks like she hasn't drinking for days. And it's like the water's right here the whole time. All right, so in the trench. Like to see the looks on their faces when they learned it was a girl who skated all these places first. Of course, I feel guilty as soon as I think that, because I really just wish they were all still alive. You feel that? May. Don't you feel that? Like a little shake in the ice? Quit being creepy. I don't feel anything. Maybe we should stop a bit. I could use a break. How's your leg, Pa? Not good. Needs clean bandages. Hold on, I'll rip up some clothes. I'll be okay with these. Now hush, that's just silly. You feel that now, right? Daddy? Grab a hold of me. Pa? Do you see that? It's the Golden Ones! May! Wait! Would you stop? No, it's them. It has to be. What do you think you're doing skating off like that? Ah. Pa? I thought the trench never ended. To be continued.
Crouchy was wondering if she's going to get killed. Like, how harsh is this book? Like, right away, and she's gone.
All right. Skip has gone into lurking mode. Thank you for joining us, Skip, for the time that we had you. Appreciate it. It's always good to talk to you. Hopefully you can enjoy the books. And the rest of you. Melissa's the talky one. Let's see.
What happened to Mariah? I think she just decided to leave.
Oh. It took too long talking to get to the
Well,
books.
Yeah, we talked too much about Dick. That's why she left.
I gotta tell you, man, it's books like this. Like, there is like a weird sort of prejudice. I think people, they see books like this and they're like, whatever. They just tune out. They don't care.
I agree.
If I did like Spider-Man or Batman or something, people would be like, "Oh, okay." Or if it was a book maybe that was catching a lot of conversation, but no one's heard of Snow Angels really, so there's like whatever. But I don't care. I want to share it.
I'm usually the person, if I look at the book and it has crappy art on the cover, I will walk right by it. That's what happened with The Walking Dead. Now I hate myself.
Now you hate yourself. No, you don't, because you got to enjoy it still.
I still got to enjoy it, but I mean, like, I enjoy it more if I had that number one. It's like literally, I was like, I remember in the store seeing it there. I was like, "What is this new independent book? Why is this on the shelf? Get this crap out of here!" And then like now I just like, man, I'm at that point. It's like, should I buy this book? Maybe it'll go up. I don't want to be a speculator, but at the same point, it's like, maybe this book I don't want to take a chance on it. Maybe it'll be good, or maybe it sucks. It's like, it's the big thing is the price. Comic books, if they went back down to where they were, like $2.99 or even $3.99 for the most expensive stuff, I'd be more lenient to try more books.
Well, these Comixology this book at least is only $2.99. Of course, it's only digital.
Yeah, but like physical, I mean, yeah.
I kind of wish It's one thing I hate about the Comixology originals is there is no physical edition. I kind of wish they would print these and just sell them, like normal books. But you could also get them just digitally, Comixology, like, because I know collectors. I'm one of those people. I like to collect physical books. I'll read books digitally, but I don't want to buy books digitally. Now, I'm reading this book because it's part of the Comixology Unlimited thing. I wouldn't have just bought these books, and I probably wouldn't have bought this book on the shelf either because I'm not a big Jock fan. The art, it's like, it's fine. It's more appealing to me because I'm invested in the story, and so that helps when I'm enjoying the story, even if the art will be better. If the story was bad, the art would just be worse.
The way his art, the way he styles, I almost wonder what it would look like if he was the one that was doing the art for the last Ronin stuff with the turtles.
Oh yeah.
The gritty stuff.
The last Ronin's got a good artist though too.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious. It's like because he's got that style. It's like you want the gritty stuff. Like I can imagine, I can see anything that has to do with not an environment that helps hide the everything. It's, he's not bad, but I mean, he can really capture the really gritty books. I would rather had him on 30 Days a Night.
That is true. I agree with you. His style does help for the grittiness of it. If they would have put on some, more traditional comic artist, it would have looked too comic booky.
Like Dan Mora. I mean, I love Dan Mora, but he's great for Batman. But
no, even someone more comic booky,
Scotty Young.
No, that's a total cartoony. But you know what I'm saying? If you've seen the art in The Boys,
yeah,
or something just that, it would have taken away from the grittiness of it. So that does help. I do agree that. Jock is really muddy, and like I said, for covers, it works for me. He's got a really good sense of composition, but whatever, the story is good, and I'm already paying the fee.
Yeah.
So for me, this is a free book, and like I said, so I just tried it, and I'm really enjoying it. Now that I'm invested in it, I wish it was a real book because now I would buy it. It's just, if this was on the shelf for $3.99, I knew nothing about it, I probably would have passed and not known any better. And so that's why I'm doing this show tonight. I'm doing this book is because I kind of want to share it out there. I want people to have a chance to discover it and go, oh, hey, this is something I wouldn't have considered before. And I've had some success in the past with other books, just bringing them to light and people going, oh, I would have never thought to open this myself, but now that I've sampled it. So, yeah.
Wow, how much a delay is your stream on? Because right now it shows Skip still on there, and it shows the cover of Snow Angels. You have to refresh it. I don't know.
No, that's just OBS.
Oh my gosh! Because I'm looking right now, and it's what? Because yes. Let me try refreshing my YouTube.
That's weird.
There it goes. Now it skipped. Okay, now it's normal. Now it's normal. Cause I was I looked on my phone. I was Skip was still on there. And we're it was at the title page. Oh,
yeah. Marani says very limited use of yellow for fire and May's hair. The rest is done well in blue tones. The art style suits the book. Damn cliffhangers. I would like to see this in a trade. Yeah, me too. This would be a cool trade. And maybe that would be a good compromise for Comixology too.
That's another thing though. I just thought about that. The cold ones. Is that a whale? What is that?
Well, they don't know, right? From their perspective, they have this lore of the Colden ones, which is where you go to. No, the Colden ones were the ones that made them, according to their mythology.
Yeah.
But they've obviously saw something under the ice that looked kind of like a whale, and to them, they're trying to associate it.
So is this the ocean they're on top of? It's frozen over. That's another thing.
They're definitely over a body of water because they fish through the ice.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
I would. It'd be a cliche to come across a bunker that's under the ice, with the old world tech. I wonder if they'll do that. But.
Yeah, HR says we usually buy books physically because that's what we're used to. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than that though, because for me, I think books are a little overpriced. But if you get something out of it, like if you go, man, when you look at a floppy comic, you go, it's $3.99, it's expensive for a 20-page story. However, that floppy comic has an intrinsic value. For example, we were talking earlier tonight, Stray Dogs #1 sold for $150 on eBay. That book only came out 4 months ago. So you're kind of almost like buying lottery tickets, So there's that balance. You go, I'm paying $3.99 for this, but it might be worth something. A digital book it's never going to be worth anything. Your $3.99 is just down the drain.
I think we're also aware as humans, we're pretty much now we're used to hoarding things too.
Maybe
some of us can't get rid of stuff. Some of us like collecting on things.
Some of us, so like
a
when
physical need to have something, you buy it, you own it, and no one else can grab it. It's yours. It's in your house. It's yours. It's like,
Maybe. For me, like I like having a nice deluxe hardcover book, and it can be expensive, but I feel like I understand the expense because binding the book and all that and all that paper and a hardcover, I feel like it's an expensive product. So when you sell me that price, I kind of understand it. But at the same time, if you want to sell me that same book digitally, like, it's like a 30, like I bought one of the Criminal Deluxe edition, volume 1, which is beautiful, right? And it's thick hardcover. It's normally $49.95. I bought it for like $35 on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
If you sell me the same book digitally for $30, I don't want to pay $35 for it digitally. Like, what I'm saying? Like my mind justifies like this is a physical product that has expense to build it, to construct it. Digitally, I just feel like you just hit a button to copy it. Like,
well, that's the thing that we're in a digital world, so and people are used to doing it. It's cheaper to get an Uber or a taxi than just go buy a car and maintain it. Like, if you buy, like, so I look at that, like, comic books are pretty much like the car.
It depends on how much you drive.
You hold on to, yeah. but if you're a person that's like, I don't really need I don't need this. I don't have room. I live where I live. So I don't have room for all these books. You're gonna go to digital.
Well,
digital
has its place. Like I own. Well, we're right here. Let me show you. I got Comixology. Exit the reader here.
Oops, wrong tab.
Oops. Go to my books. You can see my library here real quick. If it loads up, because the Comixology website on the app works so much better than the website. So I have browse library. So my library, 243 series. I mean, I have quite a bit of things. Some of these are free books, some of these are single issues, some of these are trades. But what I find about digital that I like is the economy of it, right? When I can get a book, like a trade paperback that's normally $15-$20 and I get it for $5. That's a good trade-off, right? Like I bought this is a graphic novel, this Spider-Man Spirits of the Earth. I got this for 99 cents. So the book is beautiful hardcover. It's the inside is just like this cover. It's all Charles Vess painted art.
Yep.
Gorgeous. And I would love to have this physically, but you're going to pay probably $30 for it. Right? Because it's just a beautiful book. I just wanted to read the story. I'm paying 99 cents. It's a fair trade-off. I don't get the cool quality of the book.
You're like me. You just want to read it, If it's something that's really great, you'll probably go out and buy the hardcover,
Right. So my point on this is digital for me is great when I get a nice discount. I don't want to pay full comic. I would not pay full comic price. But I bought these Batman Adventures Continue when COVID was, deep into COVID and they weren't doing comics. These were 99 cents a piece. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll buy 99-cent comics. So I think when digital finds its way that when you can give a nice deep discount for comics, especially older comics, because that's another thing too that chaps my hide. It's like, these are comics you guys, printed 30 years ago, and you want to sell it to me for like $3.99 an issue? No. Like, I can go to my comic book store and buy the back issue. You would get nothing. You should be selling your old back catalog of comics, for cheap, because you already made all your money. And you're someone, you have the entire Amazing Spider-Man run. Well, up to a point. You had
mine. I have it physical, and I actually have 2 copies. I realized when I bought it, I have the one that has like 11 disc DVD or CD DVD ROM drawer, and then I have another one, and it's like that too. It's like 4 or 5 discs or something.
So I have a similar thing, but for X-Men.
Yeah.
And those came out like in the early days, like before Comixology and stuff. You had to buy them physically on disc. But my point is, they came out early, and when this was all like, they didn't know how to sell digitally and stuff like that. And I remember I bought that X-Men collection. I think it was like $50.
It was, yeah. That's what it was for me.
Like, and it was like the entire, like, hundreds of issues of X-Men. Now, to go on Comixology and buy that same thing would cost me way more than $50. And I got those like 20 years ago. So 20 years later, and you didn't have to print them on CD. You didn't have to stock them on a store shelf. Literally, it's now a download button, and you're charging me more. That's my point. You need to sell them. I know you can sell them cheaper, publishers, and you're just choosing not to. But
they're still trying to make money off of you because they figure like,
they're trying to make more money off you.
I think like, they know people are going to want to buy the digital versus buying physical. Because they know the people who don't have comic book stores next to them forced to buy digital, or find it somewhere like through eBay, and that's not always thing. Like getting comic books in the mail, no matter who you're buying it from, you're always taking a risk. Especially if you're a person who likes to keep your books in nice condition, you run into things where like you get a bent corner. Imagine buying like a $40 book, or because you go into the variant, because the variant, whatever all it is, it's a key issue. You're buying the first appearance of Gambit, which is like $40. That coming in the mail, and then it's the corners just beat up. You might get your money back from the seller, but the thing is that it's not a good long-term business to keep buying stuff getting delivered. So that's why you'd be basically buying digital, read digital, and you're forced to pay whatever it's like $4 if you want to read digital, unless you're only buying the old stuff. You're paying like 99 cents maybe per issue, $1 per X-Men book, or you buy it if they have it in a trade. You can get it for like they're on sale for like $12.99. Get this volume here. It's how much do you really want it? It's like the whole Disney thing, Disney World. People, no matter what the price is, people are still gonna go because they want it, because it's where it is. It's only accessible if you go there. You can't get Disney done digital. You have to physically go there.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, digital needs to be cheaper. That's my point. It needs to be cheaper.
It does.
You're saving all these other costs, but you're not passing it off to the consumer, and that makes me annoyed, because you're essentially making more money off me when you sell it digitally because you're charging the same price, and it's like, but I'm not getting the benefits of the physical book or the collectability of it. So, anyways, it's time to get into issue number 4.
Well, my last comment is I think they're afraid if they lower the price of digital, people won't buy physical anymore. That's my thing.
Bring that back up after we finish this. This is issue 4 of Snow Angels, our last issue for the evening. If I can get this to turn the page. Comixology. There we go.
Ash and the Snowman, part 5.
Pa? The rules. The 3 rules. The trench is endless. How? Pa? Let's go. Damn. You gotta clean that, Pa. The winds are bad here, coming down off that slope. Come on, let's go inside. Ah, sorry. It's like the Coleman ones just stopped digging here. How come you think, Pa? I don't know, Mimi. Wonder if any of their magic is still in this stuff. Don't go touching anything. You don't know what it could do. It's okay, Millie. This machine won't work. How? How do you know that, Pa? I've been here once before. No, Pa. No one has. I think maybe your leg is infected. I think maybe you got a fever. No. I've lied to you girls. About everything. It's all my fault. All of it. It's not your fault. The snowman did it. Yeah, Pa. No. You see, it was me. I'm the one who broke the 3 rules. I was the one who left the trench. You never left the trench. You've been with us every day of our lives. I think you're just getting sick and confused. No, Milliken. You don't understand. I left long ago, before you were born. My brother and I, Thomas, we broke the rules. We were young and we were arrogant. We thought we knew better than the elders. We left the trench. The 3 of us, we went out across the ice together. You don't have a brother, Pa. No, not anymore. He never made it back. 3? You said 3 of you, Pa? Crash! Ugh! Daddy! Dun, dun, dun. The snowman is back. Pa! Stay. Ugh. Stay here. No matter what happens, stay inside. Thud. Keep away from my girls, you fucker. Ugh. Thud. Pa! Crack. Scring. You bleed too. Just another fucking animal. Thud. Bam. Scooch. I told you to stay away from my girls. This is between you and me. I left the trench. They haven't done anything wrong. Nothing. What? Come. Come back here. You fucker, come back. Pa! Listen to me. You need to keep going. I saw it. Out there. Shh, don't talk, Pa. Just rest. I'll fix you up. No. I'm gonna die, Milliken. No! No, Daddy. Shh. It's okay. I'm gonna die, but you need to keep going. He'll just keep coming back here. No, we won't leave you, Pa. You have to. I know what's out there. Go north. What's north, Pa? What did you see? Thomas had a wife. She was with us, but I loved her too. Pa, I don't. We fought. Thomas and I fought. Didn't mean to, but and then she and I, we came back to the trench. Just the two of us, your mama. But she was his first wife. Pa, I don't know what you're saying. Whatever you do, stay together and take care of your sister Millie. Go north, no matter what. Stay together. I saw them, the golden ones. I saw them sleeping there. Real. They're real. Pa! Pa, wake up! What comes next is hard, but I know it has to be done. Digging the hole isn't that bad. I've done it so many times. Just like going ice fishing. At least that's what I tell myself to keep from stopping. The worst part is going through his pack, taking things for myself. It feels wrong. And May won't watch. She won't talk to me. She won't let go of him. May, no. It's time, May. We need to pass him under. No! I know it's hard, May, but we have to send him. I don't want him to go, Millie. Me neither, but we gotta. It's the way. This way he can be with Mama. What about us? We get to be with each other. Come on. We'll send him together. For Mama. Pa told us stuff I still can't believe. He told me he left the trench. He told me he had a brother. And that brother had a wife. My Mama. Does that mean? I can't think about that. Not now. But he also said the golden ones are real. Said he saw them. Don't know if that scares me or if it makes me feel better. Don't know much of anything no more. Grew up being told 3 truths. 3 rules of the trench. Told us the trench provides. And it did. But now it don't. Told us the trench never ends. But here we are. And the 3rd rule. Never, ever leave the trench. But here we go. But this ain't the end. No, not yet. I'm gonna kill the snowman first. That's the only truth I know anymore. End of book 1.
All I gotta say is, damn! I was not expecting that. That's a good, because overall I was like, okay, this is okay, okay, it's it's his average pace, and then like, they're like, why would the robot just leave? And they're like, we're fine, we're safe, we'll just run out the storm, and he dies. I was like, It's like a straight out of horror movie.
Yeah,
It's like
this book is a total horror. I love how, I mean, every issue has kind of its own beginning and end. Like it leaves on a cliffhanger, but like each issue feels like you got an issue, and then it has like a breaking point. And every time you're like, he finds a new way to be like, what the? And it just like ups the ante each time until you get to this final issue. You're like, now what the fuck you gonna do?
the thing is, like, I never understood, like, they instead of burying him in the snow, they just put him like under the ice, and then what? That's it. It's like that's their tradition thing. Like I don't know why. What was the purpose of that?
Yes, that's just
Yeah.
their culture. Like
Yeah.
they believe that the Colden ones made them, and the Colden ones went under the ice and so that's where they live.
A whale
And-
down there, those dead bodies.
Yeah,
Outta here.
that was like an issue 2, I think. They talked about the myth of the Colden ones, and
Yeah.
so like to them, they believe you have to send the body, like otherwise you'll never rest.
Yeah, I
and that's
know.
why when they came back to the village and everyone was dead and they like fled, they're like, no, we can't. We gotta send them to the ice. So it's the way I look at it is kind of like superstitions, right? Because these are
Yeah.
it's a primitive
Yes.
culture.
Yes.
So
It's just funny that I'm just thinking like the whales are down there. He's like they're just dodging like bodies because remember they don't decompose. They're frozen. You know, if it's that cold in the water.
right.
It's just like it's littered with bodies.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
comes
don't
in,
think the
it's like-
population's that big though. If it's like an ocean, it's like you're just
Well, you don't know. It could be an ocean, or it could be like a giant lake. You know, like look at Lake Superior and all here, like the Great Lakes.
yeah. That's
Big-
still those are still huge. I mean, in the
I know.
greater scheme of thing, those are, you know, you could have 1,000 bodies down there and they'd still could be dispersed. Plus, there's probably sea life that feeds off of it.
Maybe. I'd just be like the whale. It's like again, really get hit in the eye, but
There's probably
floating.
some under like crabs on the surf, like in the sea floor or something.
Where are the orcas? That's what I don't think. The orcas eat the bodies. But then
I don't think orcas eat like dead things.
I don't know.
We don't even
It's
know
still-
if they're on Earth though.
That's the thing, though.
This
That
whole
thing
thing
was
could be like
huge.
on another planet. Like
That thing was. It looked like a whale. That's all I know. It's like it could be a dinosaur. For all I
it
know.
definitely did look like a whale, but it could be some sort of alien whale.
Like I said in the.
I think
Go
this
ahead.
is Earth. I think this is like far future Earth.
Yeah.
My guess, if I had to guess, I would say this is far future Earth. There's probably some story of climate change in there somewhere. It's why the Earth is all frozen over, whatever. And these are now people like 1,000 years from now, and society has been lost, so they like forgot everything. They don't know how to operate the machines.
Wait. It's the 100.
It's like Mad Max, actually. You know, like
Well,
they
that's what the
see
100 was.
No, the 100 was no.
They-
No.
but no.
Don't bring up that The 100 is garbage.
I know it's garbage,
hate
but I'm
that
just
show.
saying, in the sense of like, it's been like thousands of years, or 3,000 years. Like now
Yeah,
they're
but
going
they
back there.
knew how to operate technology because they were living in high technology.
Yeah,
the whole
I
time.
know, but I'm saying, like, imagine if you're the person that was down there, like surviving, like
Yes.
the primitives, they know
Yes.
what technology. That was magic.
Yes, like Mad Max.
Yeah.
Remember, like in
Okay.
Thunderdome, right?
Yep.
So that's how I'm kind of interpreting it. Is like that there's a primitive people and superstitions have taken over. They don't understand. When you don't understand science, you
Yeah,
make up things to
But,
try to make sense of the world.
but that snowman it's got to be some kind of guard center, and it's gonna be more than one. I don't think it's just only. Maybe there is only one, but it's protecting something they're not supposed to be. That's why it's they're labeled as a threat.
I am very curious. I want to know what the snowman is. That's the whole thing about this book. Is what I love is it's got a good story. It's pretty straightforward. It's very Terminator like. It's like, oh, there's a machine hunting us. We got to run, and it's kind of a chase. So it's a very simplistic story, but the pacing keeps you into it. But then there's also this world building. It's like, why are they in the snow world? What is the snowman? Why is it chase? We don't even know these things. These are all questions that we're hoping we get an answer to. Melissa says they're probably on Neptune or Pluto or some alien planet. I would hope that that's the case. I think that would be way more interesting than like, oh, it's climate change and we're just 1,000 years in the future. Like,
I'm kind of like beneath the Planet
it would
of the
be
Apes.
cool.
I love it.
To me, it would be cool to me if it was like an alien planet that Earth colonizers came a long time ago, and then something got lost, and they lost communication, with a home like planet Earth, and so the colony was just trapped on this planet, and they didn't have. They just devolved into like a Stone Age type thing. I don't know. That would be more interesting to me.
That also helped out 100.
Yeah, that's true. It did actually. Kind of, although they were still on Earth.
No, actually, on the last season they were a family. They're like the Fantastic Four, but they had powers. Were sent to this as a scout ship, and
What?
they get trapped. They got trapped on this other Earth-like planets, and
jeez, talk about jumping the shark.
I know.
What the fuck?
That's. I was like,
it's called the 100. It's about the 100 people that go back to Earth.
They had to flee the Earth because the nuclear power plants were all melting down. There's nuclear radiation everywhere, so they had to leave.
Oh my god!
The
they had to. How that doesn't even make sense.
And there was miners that were sent up before that. They were basically prisoners that were sent to go mining in this colony. They took control of the ship, and they came back to Earth, and they were able to. Everybody was still left on that Earth. Got into that ship, and they left.
So dumb. I'm so glad I stopped watching that show. I got to the end of the first season, and I was like literally upset. I was like, "Fuck this show."
But that's CW. I mean, my thing is, I love like stuff like when you come across like dystopian future. I love like
no, dude. There's a reason why I watched it. The premise is cool. I read the premise and I was like, oh, this sounds cool. Then I watched it and I was like, really? All right, let me give it a chance. Okay. And then I got to the end of the first season and I was like, are you what? I was like, I am not giving this. I gave it a whole season and then I was like, nope, done. And then you're telling me what's happened, like, oh, this mining ship from and then the thing, and like, wait a second, why were they even orbiting the planet Earth in the first place if they could go interstellar travel?
No, this is a different because we found out how the Earth was pretty much destroyed was by some AI intelligence that fired off, took over missiles.
Right, but the whole thing is they were on the space station.
They were on that, but
for like
there was
50 years.
But there was a separate thing that they didn't know about apparently.
My point is why were they sitting on a space station for 50 years? Waiting to repopulate the Earth when apparently they had interstellar travel and could go to other planets, and in fact they already have gone to other planets.
They didn't have it on those.
No, but
ships.
I'm saying Earth had that technology. If
maybe that those ships were destroyed or all gone, or there was one giant ship. Who knows? They said it's plot holes and just
super plot holes because that whole first season. Allude like that station was the epitome of their technology.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, that's actually not. Actually, we've actually sent ships to other planets, and now they're coming back to rescue. Like you're like, what? What?
They were sent to mine asteroids and stuff for material for the war.
Anyways, that show was so stupid. I hated that show.
But I love the premise as far as just like not even just that. It's Beneath the Planet of the Apes, he comes in, it's like it's been all year, and he finds like there's a hidden city under there. It's the old city. Same thing with 2049 Blade Runner. It goes to Vegas, so it's covered with sand and stuff. I so much of that. It's just
Blade Runner 2049 is great.
I love that, like deserted ghost towns like that.
Yeah, no, it's cool, but that was smartly written, not stupid like the 100. Melissa says nothing from the CW makes any goddamn sense. That's true, including the new Superman series. Holy crap!
That was rushed. The whole thing with that character,
dude. Then that Superman and Lois.
That last, I agree with you. I love the first half, but the second half was dumb because there was. If you know this person, first of all, this is spoilers for anybody who's watching it. They had some other Kryptonian basically was taking in consciousness. He arrived on Earth around the same time Nick Clark did, but he just stayed hidden for whatever reason. Whatever.
Zod, who's not Zod.
Yeah, he's like a crappy knockoff of Zod.
And he's way more powerful than Zod.
Well, the thing is that
he beats the shit out of Superman, no problem. Superman couldn't even put up a fight. I was like, what?
Superman pretty much he needed 24 hours to recharge. I don't know how the general even knew this. General Lane knew this, but no. But the thing is that why?
Because he read the New 52 books.
You remember there was a whole.
I read those New 52 books. I know it takes you 24 hours.
Like the thing is, like they know there's the Kryptonian army and all that's possible invasion stuff. You have all the arsenal, all the kryptonite stuff, why wasn't there a contingency plan in case after something happens like this with Clark? Because his family should have had they had those guns from freaking Henry Irons and all that were the kryptonite guns and all stuff. Whatever they should have kept stuff like that because hey, there's a guy out there. He's pretty much like Zod, or It just felt like Superman just gave up so freaking prematurely. There was no fight. I would expect him to fight till all his strength is gone, and same with Lois and stuff. And then something happens. Then he's forced to he gets knocked out and he wakes up in the thing. Not to submit like that. That was dumb.
Yeah,
he just don't kill my family. Don't kill my family,
dude. He just totally. I was like, that is not Superman.
No,
Superman would go down fighting.
Yeah,
dude, there was an issue. Well, actually, it was a couple issues. It was in the. I don't know if you read it because I think you read a little bit of Scott Snyder's Justice League, but I don't think you read it all. Yeah. There was a part in that where Superman from the future comes and says we need your help, da da da, and they go, and it ends up being a trap, and they end up trapping our Superman in this darkness where he can't escape, and of course now he's got no power of the sun and all this stuff, and he does all these things, and he can't, but he never stopped. It's such an epic moment because Superman is helpless, but he just refuses to give up. Sheer willpower just keeps trying and trying and trying. And all the rest of the Justice League are all under this spell and they're being tricked and all. And one of the things that got me of this story was I just loved how even though Superman was beaten, he never stopped trying. Even when all hope was lost, he was I don't care. I'm going to keep going.
That was another thing. That was part of the Justice League cartoon where was it Justice League cartoon? It might have been the Superman cartoon where he gets transported to the future, and he doesn't have his powers because it's a red kryptonite sun, and he's forced to fight off. He gets a spear and all that stuff. Grows a huge freaking beard and all that stuff like Odin, But he finally manages to get his way back to in our present time. But it's he just gave up. He kept trying to survive because he knew there's a chance he'd get back to Lois. That's what kept him going. The whole thing. He could have gave up. He was there. I think he was there for a year. But he never gave up. It's like, and that's the thing. When heroes give up, they're not heroes anymore.
Yeah, I mean, especially when they give up like at the drop of a hat.
Right.
Superman literally is like, no, whatever. I'll do whatever you say. Just don't hurt my family. I'm like,
I understand. This guy Zod knockoff could have killed him right there, but guess what? Lois could have pulled out. Here, guess what? Kryptonite gun.
No, but here's the thing.
Bullets.
What Clark did in that show is something that I would expect any one of us might do.
Yes.
Because we're real people. We're not Superman. And deep down, we know that, we might submit, but we read these stories, these fantasy stories about these mythical heroes because we want to have a fantasy about characters who wouldn't do that. And we want to live the illusion of hey, maybe I could be like this guy. Maybe not, but he's like a role model of something to aspire to be like. Not go, oh yeah, he's just as fucking, he's worse than I am. I would have put up more of a fight than that.
That's why I like Punisher. Even in the Netflix series, he's getting his face beat in. He's like, you know what? That's the best you got. Just It's just, come on, let's go. He's crazy psycho. He's like, and the guy's like, people are beating on him. It's like, well, quit this guy? He's nuts.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Well, it's like one of the best things about the MCU, right? Like that they did over and over. Actually, they kind of beat it in the ground. Was the whole when Steve Rogers would be like, "I can do this all day," that was one of the things that was pretty cool about the Captain America. Was like, even though he got his ass beat and he's down, and it's like he gets right back up and he's bleeding and all beat up, and he's like, I could do this all day. He won't give up. And those are the moments when you and the audience are like, yeah, go Cap. Yeah, I do that whole episode. It started off kind of cool because I did like the flashback stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit. Some of it was a little cornball. But it was still pretty cool. I like when he like saves the car. The car crashes off, and and it was kind of a homage to Action Comics #1. It was like a green car, and he holds it, and the kid looks at him, and he's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Cool costume." And he's like, "Thanks, my mom made it for me." And he like flies off. And I was just like, that's like a dorky thing that like Clark would say, right? And I was like, okay, these are some cool moments. It's fine. But as every time I went back to the normal thing and that Morgan Edge, that's the dumbest character. I'm just like,
it is.
I was so excited when I found out that the Henry Irons character wasn't actually Lex Luthor.
Yep.
Because for like the first 5 like episodes, I think he's running around calling himself Luthor. And I'm like, oh, they race swapped Lex Luthor. They did this. I was like, and why is he running around like he's Master Chief from Halo? I was like, this isn't Lex Luthor. This is dumb. And then when they had that episode where it was like, oh, he was totally just not impersonating. He just was using that identity. And it turns out that he's Henry Irons is Steel. Like I was like, oh, cool. We haven't ever seen Steel other than the stupid Shaquille O'Neal movie we won't talk about. I love that movie. I was like, this is cool. Like I'm down. I want to see some Steel. And then he turns stupid and he beats Superman with some solar lights. And I was like, this really okay, I want you to think about something real quick here. Around episode 6, I think it was, Henry Irons, no powers at all, beats Superman with some solar lights.
They were made by...
You can't do this to Morgan Edge?
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's it.
Just get the red flashlight. You win. They made Superman so beatable in this series. Like every episode was like, hey, they have a new way to stop Superman. What do you know? And then now they got Morgan Edge, and it's like, look, he's this unbeatable guy. Even Superman. I'm like, dude, just get your anti-Superman gear. Even Lois Lane beats a Kryptonian because she had the like kryptonite thing. I was like,
yeah. Why? I said, why was there not a contingency plan? Because something like this could happen to the kids. What if he makes a pass against Superman? Remember, he's Superman.
Well, no, there is a contingency plan. Remember, because the grandfather has all that. And remember, Lois and the kids give him a piece of their mind because how dare you have these things to hurt Clark? Like, and the grandfather's like, I'm in the military. It's our job to be prepared in case Clark goes evil. Well, you're just wrong. Like, it's just the whole, it's an analog for like the gun control movement. Like, why does anyone need a gun? Because someday someone might try to kill you and you're going to wish you had the gun. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That whole thing. And this is, but they just treat it like that. Like, oh, you're just a big, bad, evil person. And then the show goes there. The show goes like, guess who's right all along? Yep, Grandpa.
Yep.
You're all going to come crawling to Grandpa.
And Jordan finally got his superpowers. Bitching like his mom.
Jordan's
Jordan. I mean Jonathan.
When did he get superpowers?
I said his superpowers is chilling out his grandfather.
Oh, the lecture, the superpower lecture. Dude, that was so cringe on episode 10 when he's lecturing his grandfather. I was like, oh, you shut up, you stupid kid. Just like
he's got the power activism.
So stupid. Just, dude, no. That's the thing is like the grandfather's trying to basically say like, yeah, what is Superman? What, he would never go evil. Well, guess what? He's got a brother who is evil. Now what, you dumbasses?
Did you guys not watch the video footage inside the van? He would never. Well, that's a different Clark. Our Clark is like,
God.
okay, well.
Like, it's like the epitome of the brain dead leftist that just lives in denial. It's like, yes, I get it. Ideally, we don't want this to ever happen, but it could happen, and we should be prepared for it.
But Lois is the key to that, to the whole. Lois and Jordan are the key to getting Clark back in his memory and stuff, from evil. Because remember, Lois is his lightning. Wait, no, that's Iris. No, that's for Flash. Lois is his wife who tells him what to do. Yeah,
oh no, that's why I was saying like that they turn Superman into a beta male, and then that's what Zach was arguing with me, that he's not beta male, and I'm like, I didn't really argue back, but I was like thinking to myself, dude, he totally.
You know what?
He just does whatever Lois says. He never asserts himself. He never.
Jimmy, I want to talk about Jimmy. Jimmy, I love you, man. It's just funny because like he's hated every single freaking episode. The past couple episodes lately because they just keep beating the crap out of Superman. He gets knocked down. He loved this episode. He loved this last episode.
No, I saw his post on Twitter and I just refrained from even reacting. I was like, this is the dumbest. The fact that I was like, I don't even make sense how Jimmy likes this episode. It is.
He said it made perfect sense because like the use of him getting knocked down, by someone who's a villain who's like the same. I'm like, a couple episodes you're saying these people shouldn't be knocking him down. I'm sick of him being a punching bag. Well, he's no longer a punching bag, Jimmy. He's now the guy who works at the coffee shop. Please don't shoot me, Mister. I'll submit. I'll do whatever you want.
I think Jimmy was just mesmerized that they had this stupid telephone booth scene. Like that's what I've heard. It's like people like, oh, the telephone booth, and I'm like, so you're wowed by nostalgia. You don't care that the story was stupid and the characters are stupid, but you got to see the nostalgia.
The first half was phenomenal. The second half.
Whoa. Let's rein that back. Phenomenal.
Yes.
No, was not phenomenal.
Yes. For CW, that was phenomenal.
No, it was.
It was better than Man of Steel.
No, it was not better than Man of Steel. Absolutely not.
Absolutely better.
No way.
We all disagree.
No. It was fine though. It was entertaining. No.
It was weird though that he changed in the telephone booth afterwards instead of doing it beforehand.
Right.
But to be fair, I've also seen him in other shows, comics and all cartoons, where he runs first and then he changes. Doesn't always use a telephone booth.
How does he change back? It's one thing where you're like your clothes are over your Superman costume, but when you come back, how do you put on, like, where's your clothes? You weren't carrying them around.
They're underneath his suit.
that doesn't make sense.
It's reversible.
Also, changing inside of a phone booth. Have you ever been in a phone booth? Changing your clothes in there.
The thing is, I remember.
You can't bend over. Try to put your pants on in a phone booth
He's moving at super speed, so it would take us like an hour or two to get in there. For him, he's just like in and out.
I get it. Like, okay, it was fine.
It'd be like a Flash. Imagine like struggling for an hour, but for us, it's only like 10 seconds.
It was fine that he changed in the phone booth. I don't have a problem with it. It was a nice little nostalgia nod because that's like. But people were like freaking out over it. Like, that's not what makes an episode good, is because I don't understand people's love for nostalgia like that. Like, oh, I'm so excited he changed in a phone booth. Yeah, but did you see the rest of the episode?
I don't know. I didn't like the first part, the first half of it, and then that whole ending was just dumb. Because, but like I see, we'll see. And I bet you the next episode you're gonna have, what's his name, Steel come back. I wonder if Steel will get his armor suit, and not the freaking Sentry crap, or Mr. Chief. I want him to have his actual silver with the cape.
I don't know.
Yep.
I thought
They won't do the cape, though.
I thought we were gonna see some cool stuff, and then
Right.
they just went off the rails. Every time I think the show is gonna be cool, it just goes off in a different direction. I'm like, what are you doing? You had the steel thing going, and then you went off on this weird tangent.
Yeah, Melissa's on my side. Man of Steel sucks. I hate Zack Snyder's Superman. He's a nihilistic serial killer.
Melissa's hateful though. She makes me look not salty at all.
Mariah says back in the day, Superman had a secret pocket in his cape for his clothes. No joke. Was it like an Acme pocket, black hole? You just reach in, pull it out, the void.
Was it like what is it that
but it's called the Super Pocket?
No, I'm watching. Oh, is it the Avengers cartoons I'm watching? And like Hawkeye will have these arrows that do like all these different, like he has an arrow that like turns into a hang glider and all this stuff. And I'm like, how did you fit inside the shaft of an arrow? Like, have you seen an arrow? There's not that much physical space to put all these contraptions that these arrows like turn into. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
He's using Ray Palmer technology,
I guess.
But like, I remember reading and like I remember seeing either reading or seeing with Superman before where Lois actually had spare clothes for him.
Oh I love the Venditti run. Did you read in the Venditti Superman how she's always like, you ruined another suit. I'm having to keep buying suits for you.
Mr. Kent, you're our best supplier of money.
It was like a running joke. It was pretty cool though.
That's probably why. Yeah, I remember seeing it. That was a Venditti run. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, it makes sense. That's wow. It's like Spider-Man. It's like, I went to go get my civilian clothes and it's gone. Someone stole my clothes.
I felt like they totally neutered Superman in that last episode, and I really hated the origin story. My biggest problem with the origin story that apparently you think is amazing and Jimmy thinks is fucking amazing. They ruined like Lois. They made Lois like instantly fall in love with Clark Kent. Like Clark Kent gets a job at the paper. She instantly falls for him.
Well, it was not instantly. It was over time.
It was pretty much instantly.
Well, because they were doing it within like 5 minutes. He was traveling through his memories.
No. She was already in love with him by the time she met Superman. Remember? Like
when she finally get the Superman interview, yes.
That wasn't like years later she got to meet Superman. I got the impression that was like a month later.
Yeah. They were working on something and all. They were doing stories together, Bylands and all. And then finally, Superman finally agreed to do a sit-down interview.
So the traditional thing about Superman is that Lois and Clark don't get along. And she's infatuated with Superman. Clark's kind of a dorky guy. And, you know, he has to impress her. And eventually she kind of sees the qualities. But in this, it was like, no, I'm not even interested in Superman. I am totally interested in dorky Clark. That's totally up my alley.
I will. I did get a chuckle of the fact that she's like, you know, the friend's like, do you think he can hear us? It was like they're gossiping about him. Like he's just kind of creeping, smiling at him the whole time. It was so cringy.
That was kind of funny. But I was just so annoyed at the whole premise of like, oh no, I'm not even interested in Superman. I'm in love with Clark. Like, why? And also the other thing I didn't like is the actor who plays Superman, and I'm gonna equally blame also the director. Clark Kent and Superman do not behave differently, right? If you go back and watch like the old Christopher Reeve, like original Superman movies, it's a brilliant performance. Like Christopher Reeve transforms. Like when he's Clark Kent, he's one way, and when he becomes Superman, like his whole posture changes, his body acting. It's like, oh shit, you kind of buy into like why people don't see Clark and Superman as the same person. This guy, it's literally the same guy. Just my glasses are off. I behave the same. My mannerisms I'm all the same. No.
Like when he first changed back, and you're like, dude, you see that like guy? I was like, oh, do you see his face? And like, and I was like, this proves right here that the citizens of Metropolis are stupid. Like, because he had his glasses on, they couldn't tell like he's the exact same guy. I was like, or you think about it, in order for Superman to work, everyone in Metropolis has to be stupid because they can't realize that this guy just has glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
No, it doesn't have to be, because that's why I said if you go watch the original Christopher Reeve movies, you can see, because it wasn't about him just having glasses.
Yeah.
His whole like body language, and he's like hunched over. He acts. He has he has all different mannerisms, and that was really
that was in the movies though. I mean, like in the comics, I don't really see that as much. I mean, they try to, but it's just like they kind of forget that. Like, he has to be completely different. Sometimes you see him in, like,
But the comics, you don't need to, because it's not photorealistic.
Yeah.
So it's easier to forget. Sometimes things work better in comics, and then you put them in real life, you're like, wait a minute.
What book was that where Clark was, and he tripped, and he, like, did it was like a after image panel. It's like, you saw 5 Clarks on the screen. There's in a white shirt. And he went to go he spilled somebody's coffee. He went to go catch the pencil or something like that. It was like a widespread panel, 2-page. And it was really good for clumsy. I forgot who. I don't think was it Bendis? It might have been Tomasi before Bendis. But yeah, it's like I've seen it before. You can do it. You can make him look super dorky and lyric klutzy and all that stuff. You can do that. But if you're going to do Superman, Superman he can be polite, but he has to be, like, perfect. He cannot be a klutz. He cannot make mistakes. Otherwise, you're like, wait, Clark is kind of klutzy, and this guy is kind of klutzy a little bit too.
And the thing, too, I love is, like, Superman is ultra confident, which is one of the reasons why so many women, including Lois, is attracted to Superman, because he's a Superman. He exudes ultimate confidence, because guess what? He's the ultimate man. Like, he has nothing to be afraid of. Like, he's not just super strong, he's super brilliant. That's one of the things that a lot of times people forget about Superman, is that he's, and they kind of talked about it in this show too. Like, how many languages do you know? He's like, all of them. Like, but there's a reason, like, and that's why he's able to go toe to toe with Lois Lane as a reporter, because even though she's kind of the best reporter, he's so kind of brilliant in his own way. He's able to kind of keep up, even though he's not necessarily the experienced reporter that she is.
I missed the whole thing with Clark, like, always correcting her work. Like, how many letters in this? The Dean Cain Terry Hatcher one was awesome. How they did that. They kept the whole stick going.
But in CW Superman, no. She's always correcting him. Like, there's no faults in Lois Lane.
Yep.
It's always him, just submissive Clark. I'm so lucky to be with you type. And it's like she falls in love with him for whatever reason, because it doesn't make any sense. You just don't. Like, women just don't fall for the goofy nice guy instantly like that. Typically, especially if you're a power person like Lois Lane. I think Lois Lane, to me, always worked better anyway, when she kind of had that ego that needed to be kept in check, and she finally is with Superman, as like the man who could be like, yo, I'm gonna check you, and he was good and kind to her and stuff, but she wasn't a perfect person. And I think that makes a relationship more interesting, rather than just being like, oh, I'm a sick little love puppy. Oh, Lois Lane.
And that's it. If you want to read Superman, go back to the Man of Steel with John Byrne.
Dude, that love scene was cringe. So cringe. He's lying in bed. He's like, I can't believe I'm lying here with Lois Lane. I was like, oh, gag me with a fucking spoon.
And like, let's go have sex. I'm thinking like, yeah, if he's a virgin, I don't think he's ever tested that out before.
Here's another problem, by the way. Was he having sex with his glasses on?
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Stupid. She doesn't recognize. So dumb.
No. At that point, they were already married, and then they had,
No, I don't think so.
Pretty sure that
No,
yeah.
that was
pretty sure.
before that he takes him home to mama. Takes her home to mama.
I have to go back and look again.
Yeah.
But
Whatever.
but the thing is that in reality, because this is logic coming in the comic book thing. I mean, he has control every muscle moment he has, but at this point, I'm thinking like he's never had sex before. So if he did, the first person is dead. It gets too excited, you know. Hip thrust, she's through the bed. That's what I always thought about that. It's like
that I never bought into that. I mean, it was when we were teenagers, we would joke about that stuff because we were boys. But
back in the day, remember he could just flick a planet, destroy it. He was so powerful. So it's
yes, but he could also pick up a glass without shattering it. This idea that Superman had no control over his strength, he just fucking that wasn't ever just the case.
This was a new urge, bro. It's like, he just gives into the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's a dominant guy.
Whatever. No, he's not a dominant guy. He's CW, man. I'm surprised.
Wow.
He probably never left his back.
I'm sure New 52, Wonder Woman, and Superman broke a few beds and floors.
Oh, he's probably just laid on his back the whole time.
I don't know. She's kind of violent in the New 52. So I would imagine she's like punching him, and they're like kind of. It's like a
she's punching
Viking.
him.
It's like a Viking kind of like mating ritual.
Yeah, just
they beat
dumb.
the crap out of each other and drink beer.
I'm so tired as a guy watching men just be emasculated, especially Superman.
Close your eyes and just listen.
And it really frustrates me to be in a society where other men defend men being emasculated. It's like, dude, you need us fucking some testosterone injections or something.
You wanna go into that kind of worms. I saw Tim Pool today on Twitter. He said like, if men would just or people Republicans would just put their real faces and their real names on social media and not back down, none of this would happen. I'm thinking like, the first person do it and watch how nobody backs them up. That's why people don't really want to do, because, well, guess what? Nobody has they call back on money right away. The situation, like,
I don't want to turn this into a Tim Pool discussion.
I'm just saying it's going to get into stuff like that.
No, I mean, Tim Pool. It's easy for him to say that shit when he's living in his $1 million castle out in the middle of nowhere, and he has no one can fire him. Like, that's the epitome of speaking with privilege. Like, I cringe when I say that. Like, but some of us, people have real jobs, have to worry about being fired, or getting new jobs ever and stuff. And it's like, yeah, if we're all public, then what? Then every time you go to try to get a job or do anything, people look at your fucking social media history. No, that's stupid.
We can't hear you.
Tim Pool's.
Yeah.
Look, Tim Pool, I don't want to say he's dumb or whatever, but he's definitely.
He's in the middle. I don't think he's a conservative. I think he's just in the middle of everything. He's more to the left, a little bit further to the left, kind of like Dalton, I'd say.
No, he's right. Tim Pool's a conservative.
You think he's far right? Oh man, I don't think
he's far right, but he's conservative.
He's like center right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the guy well enough, but here's the thing.
Well, yeah.
Most people don't actually know where they stand. I hear people all the time say, "Oh, I'm a conservative," and then I see them and their actions are actually very leftist. And I see liberals like, "I'm a liberal," and it's like, "But you are acting like you're conservative." People, I think, just identify with whatever party that their friends and family kind of like their surrounding their little social bubbles are. And they pick it like a sports team, and they don't really understand what left and right actually means. Mm-hmm. And so they completely misuse the terms all the time. We live in a society today where calling someone right is just a way of saying you're evil. And it doesn't even have any, most people don't, when they use that, they don't understand what they're saying. Like, oh, you're an alt-right, it's like, well, what does that mean? Oh, it means you're fascist. Well, first of all, fascists are far leftists. So you're already not understanding even what you're talking about. No, it's not. The fascists, the Nazis were right-wing. Yes, the Nazis were called right-wing, because in European parliamentary politics, the House of Parliament was broken into two sections: the right wing of the House and the left wing of the House. And on the left wing were the commoners, and on the right wing was the aristocracy. And so when you were right wing, it wasn't actually about your politics. It was about where you identified with. If you were like a rich business owner or whatever, then you were right wing. If you were the common Joe, the commoners, you were left wing. But that has nothing to do actually with politics. On the true political spectrum that we based, not actually using the terminology to be with old 1800s parliamentary politics in Europe, leftism, if you go left and right, think of the political spectrum like a thermometer, right? On one side of the thermometer is cold. The more you go one direction, the colder it is. The other direction, the hotter it is. The political spectrum is similar fashion. The further you go left means the more you're siding with government control and less personal freedom. The further you go right is about more personal freedom and less government control. If you were ever to reach the absolute endpoints, which is theoretically impossible, the absolute far right would be zero government, 100% personal freedom, total anarchy. On the opposite side, it would be nightmare future of 1984. The government controls fucking everything. It'd be like the Matrix. You're plugged into the fucking machine. You have no individual freedom, no free will of your own at all. That's the far right. Now, most people fall in the middle because we realize that total anarchy is bad, but also total government control is bad. So we give and take, and we argue about, well, how much should the government control versus how much freedom should we be allowed? And you have different voices. Some are like, we should be able to have guns. Other people go, no, the government should regulate guns. Okay, well, that's a right and a left issue. People who believe that we should be just free to have guns, that's a right-wing issue because it's more about personal freedom. The people that believe in regulation, that's a government thing. Government's controlling what you can do. Therefore, it's a left-wing issue. Now, when you understand those terms, now apply it to Tim Pool. Tim Pool is constantly arguing about government, shut up, like stop infringing on what we can do. That's right wing. Tim Pool doesn't understand that he's right wing because his whole life he's been lefty because he hangs around with lefty people, but not because his politics are that way. He just associates his tribe and his friends all like that. Like, oh, Occupy Wall Street and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, Occupy Wall Street was right wing in many aspects. And also another thing is sometimes your personal beliefs on a political issue aren't always 100% one side. You can be leftist about some things and very right on other things. Like I am 100% for legalization of or decriminalization of drugs. I don't like drugs. I think drugs are extremely harmful to society. But I believe if you're an adult, you should be able to, I shouldn't have any right to tell you you can't smoke a leaf. I think that's stupid. I think it's also stupid to smoke the leaf, and I'll tell you I think it's stupid, but I would never dare to force you and legislate laws and say, haha, I'm going to make it sure the government prevents you from doing that. So I'm very right-wing when it comes to that issue. But... well, I'm very right-wing on a lot of things, so it's hard for me to make a counter example. But, you know, I could possibly be, hypothetically, I'm not, but I could possibly be very anti-gun. And so maybe I'm like, no one should have guns. You know, and that would be very left. But it doesn't mean I have to be left on everything or right on everything. And that's where people kind of fail as well. And we've turned it into such a stigma, whether you fall on the right or the left. Like if you fall on the right, if you identify as being on the right, then you probably have animosity towards the left, and vice versa. If you're on the left, you have animosity towards the right. And so now you won't even dare cross issues, right? You'll be like, I got to be 100% pro team, like down the board. I can't disagree with them. And it's really dividing our country, and it's preventing individual thought and having our own, you know, just like, hey, I'm for guns. Well, I'm not really for guns. Okay, well, you know, we disagree. Move on. Nowadays, it's like, no, you're a damn leftist. Oh, you're a damn alt-right, you know, and it's like, and most people don't even understand, like I said, what it truly means to be that, and it's frustrating. I think Tim Pool is right wing. I think he's becoming more and more libertarian every day, which, based on what I said, libertarians are about as little government control as possible. Just look at him. He wants to live on this fucking castle in the middle of nowhere and be left alone. That's a total libertarian stance of like, just leave, let me live. I won't mess with you. You don't mess with me. We're good. So yeah, I that's why I think that, but he won't identify with that because he's still stuck on the mantra of like what it means socially. Cause a lot of people are liberal socially. Yeah. And they've been taught to think like, oh, I'm pro this or I'm pro that. That means I'm liberal. And it's like, no, it just means the Democrats have associated many things on their ticket to get votes, but that's not actually a leftist thing, right? Like Democrats are pro life or pro choice, right? As a big thing. Like, oh yeah, you should be able to just go get abortions every day. Like, that's a very right-wing issue. That's basic. And I don't believe anyone should get an abortion, but I am pro government not telling you can or can't. So I'm very right on that too. But the Democrats have adopted that issue on their ticket because they want to counter the Republicans. And so people associate, well, since it's a Democrat thing, it must be a leftist issue to be pro-abortion, when it's not. Actually, when you think about it, abortions, it's about personal freedom. Government can't tell me what to do. On the other hand, gay marriage is kind of a leftist thing because the government shouldn't be regulating marriage whatsoever. You should be able to go marry whatever the fuck you want. Like, government should just stay out of it. But the government forcing you to have to go get a license, you basically have to go and apply to get a permit to marry someone.
So you're because there's benefits people get if you're married. So you have to apply that whole system like that.
Right.
So
but the whole reason marriage licenses were created was to prevent interracial marriage.
Yep.
So it was created by the left. So government would restrict marriage. And now the left use it as a tool to be like, oh no, see, gay marriage. All you're doing is you're using your old regulation of marriage. How about you just get out of marriage altogether and then let people do what the fuck they want and it's none of your business? That would be the right-wing issue.
Right. Is anybody still watching?
Sorry, I went off on it. See, this is why I didn't want to. You brought up Tim Pool. And
for a little bit, then you're like, dang, he's just going, and like,
that's why
ready to yell drink.
I don't get a lot of outing. We don't have political streams anymore, so I don't get like my out. So,
well, that's because you're not during the afternoon when they're doing it on Eagle Team Live. I mean, Dalton sometimes do those streams.
Oh,
I'm just like, I'm good.
Oh yeah, I can't do politics with Dalton because he gets all butthurt. Like every time I talk about, because everything I just said right now, Dalton would flip out, and I'd be all how wrong I am.
So I love Dalton, but Dalton he goes and he explains everything to you like you're an idiot, like, and he uses big words too. Like he really, it's like, and that's just the way he's brought up. It's or just the way he's intelligent. It's just not saying he's a jerk or like that.
He's educated. He's one of.
He's like Harvard. He's like Harvard educated, but like
I don't want to say negative things about.
No. I'm not.
But he does come across as like a very book learned.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And and so like like I said, like I love Dalton, but like Dalton, like sometimes he forgets who his audience, and he just goes like in these like theoretical like critical
Oh, like. Hold on, Melissa's leaving, so I want to say bye before she's actually gone and doesn't hear me. Good night, Melissa. It's always good. Thank you so much for your support and being here and just showing that your support. It makes me feel good. I don't need thousands of listeners. Having a couple people that just care about what I have to say actually helps my self-esteem a little bit.
And here, you know what else doesn't miss here? Good robots. You haven't been doing those surveys. You used to do those all the time on Ash's channel in the chat. You do little surveys, you know.
Surveys? What?
Remember he was doing those little political surveys? You do as well. He's like keeping tabs on you. Here's the new California or survey. He's like, you know,
yeah.
And then then he's like, now he's starting up again. He's like RTV. So, what are your 5 best well-known foods in Wisconsin? Brats, hot dogs, summer sausage, burgers, I guess.
And beer.
Well, everything's made with beer.
Beer's one of the foods. Beer and cheese have to be listed.
Like beer is in the brats, and then we have Eastville brats too. We also have beer brats, Dotsville. Yeah, so I have all that stuff.
What are the top 10 California and Colorado foods that are well known within the states and people like the most? 10? I got to list 10. That's a lot.
I got like 5. You got 10. He's like.
First of all, Colorado is a very milquetoast state. There is no like Colorado cuisine, right? Like, you know, like if you think of like Texas, you probably think like, oh, like barbecue, right? Or like Kansas City or North Carolina. Like there's a couple states that are famous for their barbecue. If you think of like Louisiana, right, you think of like Cajun food. You might think of like New York would be famous for like their pizza and things, and like Maine, you get like crab, you know. California, so Southern California specifically, is Mexican food. But Colorado like has nothing. It's like, and it's so corporate. Like all the restaurants out there are like franchises. So it was really like, I'm used to more like when I go out to eat like to a restaurant, I like a singular like restaurant like that's owned maybe by just, you know, like one family. It's like they only have one and they have their own thing. I'm fine eating at like Olive Garden or something like, that's whatever, but Olive Garden is very kind of generic Italian food, right? Tastes fine, but it's when you go to a restaurant that's like a specialty restaurant, like owned by one family or person or whatever, you can get something special sometimes. Colorado just doesn't have that. Like everywhere, it's just chain. So, and they don't like have a cuisine, which is really weird to me because when I was out there, I was like, this is like a cow town. There's like all, you know, I mean, it's not as big as Texas's cows, but they got a shit ton of fucking cows out there. And I was like, there's no like good burger places. Like what? There's like, you'd think there'd be like good like meat places, and there just wasn't. It was really disappointing. However, that's not 100% true. Before I left, I eventually did find one of my favorite burger places of all time is out in Colorado, and it's a place called Crave, 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 and they have fantastic burgers. So it's partly untrue. California is In-N-Out. I mean, number one. Well known. California is like burgers. In-N-Out, yeah, In-N-Out Burger, California institution. And Southern California is taco shops. Dude, there are taco shops everywhere. And good Mexican food. I that was one thing I missed so bad when I was out in Colorado. I was like, you can't get good Mexican food. Now, that was, of course, because I was spoiled. People who lived in Colorado their whole life, they were like, this Mexican food's great. And I was like, it's not. You don't know any better. But that'd probably be like going to Philadelphia or someone who grew up in Philadelphia, like taking like a cheesesteak place out here, and they'd just be like, this isn't fucking real cheesesteak. What are you talking about?
I'm browsing the Mary Sue to see what cringe I can read today.
Maranya says she's just chopped liver. You're not chopped liver, Maranya. What are you talking about?
Wow, this is kind of interesting. According to CBR, Mike Rosemont, actually Tom Welling said that him and Mike Rosemont are actually working on an animated series to bring the characters back to life. Smallville characters. So it's going to be an animated movie or series?
I don't know.
It works.
Speaking of which, nothing to do with Smallville, but Dean Cain. That was another thing about the Superman series.
Oh yeah.
Did you notice?
Let it go. She said the American way. He was about to say it, and she said it for him.
Yes, Dean Cain was right. Because remember, like it was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
He said it's Tom Taylor, wasn't it?
And Dean Cain says, today, what did he say? He said, today, in today's age, I could not say truth, justice, and the American way as Superman on TV or whatever. And then Tom King responded back, and his all elite thing was like, he was like rude about it. He said he was like, bitch, I just had Superman say that in this comic like yesterday or something. Like he responded really rudely like that, to which I was like, okay, hold on a second. Number one, you didn't need to be calling people names. Number two, he said Superman on TV. You said comic book. Number three, it wasn't even Superman comic book, and it wasn't even Superman. It was Sergeant Rock. So you're totally disingenuous on this whole thing. But Tom King, of course, he is. Because fuck Tom King. So Dean Cain, of course, argument was true. Like he was saying, I can't say. And then, sure enough, last episode, they have the thing where it's like truth, justice, and then Lois fills in the rest, and she says it as a question. This is like, what, the American way or something? And I was like, yep. So you finagled it to sort of appear like it was like, it felt so much like a compromise. Like, we'll give the fans what we want without actually doing it, and they'll be fine. And I was like, nope, Dean Cain's right. Superman cannot say truth, justice, and the American way.
Man. Boom Studios pushes Disney to pay creators the royalties they're owed. So even Boom's getting involved in that stuff too. Oh.
Well, it's easy for Boom because Disney's their competition.
That's what makes fair yet.
No, but that's their competition. So Boom, of course, that's a smart play. If you're Boom, it could be, Disney, come on, pay your creators. What's going on?
Ooh, Princess Weeks from you know who she is in Lemire Sue. Always writes the stuff. She's always the one that's always offended by everything. Her article from June 18th says, Zack Snyder adds to the Batman oral sex discourse with some not unsafe for work fan art. I'm curious to see how triggered she is.
Computer Robot says, my boys Ash and Venkman are so excited for the new She-Hulk, or should I say Winter Hulk. Dude, Jason Aaron is just a plagiarist. The dude just rips off everything, and he does it worse. Winter Hulk, everything he does is like, what if we cross this with this?
Do not cross the streams.
What if we did Thor, but it was a girl? He's just
have you watched the third episode of Loki?
No.
Okay.
You're
still behind in things. Wednesdays.
Loki comes out on Wednesdays?
Yep.
I thought the Disney stuff was Fridays.
Nope, that was the other stuff. Wednesdays. Loki's Wednesdays.
Okay, no, I've seen the first 2 episodes. I have not seen.
Okay. I like the third episode. I'm curious to see whether you'll like it or not.
I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes.
This series though has been like, for me, like the same with Winter Soldier. I was like, it took me a little bit too, but like WandaVision, I didn't care for the first 2 episodes. I really took up the meat potatoes, in the third episode. Then I really got into it. That's kind of how I'm with Loki. That's how I'm with Loki right now. I feel like we're getting to the meat potatoes.
The first couple episodes of WandaVision were rough. However, they were only like 20 minutes long. So
I know, but
it worked.
Yeah. So I'm just saying I am enjoying it for what it is.
WandaVision is my favorite so far. Falcon and Winter Soldier was barely watchable, and by the time it was over, I was fucking wanted to punch the TV.
Which state's known for the cheese?
It was just Black Lives Matter fucking bullshit.
Ronnie, everybody knows that the state is known for cheesecake is Wisconsin.
Cheesecake or cheese steak? She said cheese steak.
Cheese steaks. We got steaks and cheese up here too.
Are you going to say that Wisconsin is better known for cheesesteaks than Philadelphia?
Well, Philadelphia is burned down.
That's Minnesota.
Philadelphia, who had the riots too, then weren't they being burned?
They had smaller riots.
It's smaller riots.
Yeah, but I guess Philadelphia and cheesesteaks are fantastic. I don't know what ring bologna. Bologna. What's ring bologna?
You can Google it. You have the power right there. You have the internet at your fingertips.
Oh, I can just ask Maranya. Chipped and dried beef is good.
Ring bologna. Okay, that's basically it's like a Polish sausage, and it's in a U shape. Kind of looks like a toilet seat. You ever seen that? The bologna?
That's bologna. Bologna.
Yeah. Way? Yeah, it's kind of like that. It almost looks like a summer sausage, but it's curved in a U.
But bologna is.
It's they call it that, but it's processed meat that's created through a mixture of beef or pork. The type of bologna draws its name from the fact that the meat is shaped into a long tubular design, not unlike link sausage.
Weird. All right. Yeah, chipped and dried. I love fucking shit on a shingle, man. Do you ever had shit on a shingle?
No, and it sounds bad out of context.
It's chipped beef in a it's chipped beef in a creamy roux sauce, and then usually you mix it with some peas and you serve it over toast. And so the appearance looks like bird shit on a roof shingle. That's where it gets its name. It came from World War II. It was like a cheap meal.
Spicy.
Most people call it SOS.
Yeah, I've seen that there.
But it's fucking good. It's like salty. But the roux is kind of like a gravy. It's like a white gravy, but without the spice, like no pepper.
Yeah.
If you've ever had like a breakfast gravy, but it's a chip beef in it, and oh man, fucking love shit on shingle.
All right. Pressed, salted, and dried beef that has been sliced into thin pieces. Some makers smoke dried beef for more flavor. Flexible leaves of partially dried beef, generally sold compressed together in jars of flat or in plastics. Processed meat, Hormel. I once described it as an air-dried product that is similar to Brisola? No, but it's not as tasty. So basically, it looks like you're just getting Spam in a can.
Ring bologna is the same as summer sausage.
That's what I look at it. Yeah, that's it's.
Summer sausage though is not in a ring. Like it's like hard. Like you couldn't.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how ring bologna is too, but it's curved though. The way the
how's it curved if it's hard?
Pick it up once. Or Google it, bro. We should Google foods instead of them looking at us.
It sounds like the way you're describing it. It sounds more like a Polish sausage or a kielbasa.
Yeah, like a kielbasa, basically. But I mean, like it's in the same family. It's right around there.
Well, kielbasa is nothing like a summer sausage, but anyways, not the summer sausages I'm familiar with, at least.
One's in the summer, one's all year long.
Ed says Florida is good for Cuban food. Grouper is really good, and key lime pie. Yeah, dude, a good key lime pie is to die for.
Oh my gosh, this is not good.
And Cuban food's pretty good too.
The Mary Sue just informed me that 78-year-old Harrison Ford hurt his shoulder while doing a stunt.
Oh no. Let's see.
Tweets came in urging everyone to protect Harrison Ford and worry about him doing stunts at his age.
Does anyone want to see an Indiana Jones with an 80-year-old Indy?
He's only 78, so he's not there yet.
Might as well be 80. It's close enough. Does anyone want to see 78-year-old Indiana Jones? That's older than Biden.
Well, Mads Mikkelsen's in it, though. The cast.
I don't care. It's called Indiana Jones. I think this is a terrible idea to do this movie. Like, you should have rebooted it. Disney should have rebooted Indiana Jones.
You know what we should be talking about, and it's everybody's trending everywhere, is the whole Britney Spears case. You cannot escape that.
I have not. I don't know anything about it.
Horrific tales behind her abusive conservatorship. She's still fighting to get free from her parents and all that stuff.
I don't care.
She's
Robot
a
says,
prisoner.
if you met Jason Aaron one day, what would you say to him? I'm actually hoping that Ash would meet him one day and confront him about how he's ruining our favorite characters. No,
Ash,
I don't think I would
Ash-
say anything to him
Ash
about
would
that.
be in jail.
No, I wouldn't say anything. I mean, unless it came up in conversation, then I would probably engage. But I don't have a desire to like start fights with people. Now, if it were like Joe Quesada, that's different. Like he's like running the company. San Amanat, I might have words with them. Or CB Cebulski, right? Because they're actually in charge. Jason Aaron's just a writer. And I don't like what his writing. I think he's not good. I think he's ruining things. But he's doing what he thinks he should be doing. Like, my opinion is just different than his. So I don't necessarily blame Jason. I blame his editors for allowing him to do the stupid fucking shit that he does. You know, because some people love Jason Aaron. You know, as much as I shit on him, there are people like, oh, Jason Aaron's the best writer in Marvel. Like, all right, whatever.
Writing.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's a Yogi Bear cartoon. Don't tell Melissa. HBO Max. He addresses a suburban life in Jellystone.
So sorry, robots. I probably disappointed you. I thought it was going to be some big
We're
champion
used,
of justice.
we're used to that, sir. We are used to that.
That's what she said.
That's why she's.
Well, it is late. It is time to wrap this show up in a bun, but not a Colin bun. I killed.
Wrap it up in a sausage casing. All right.
I am going to try to read. I did read the Planet-Sized X-Men, by the way, at RDV. We just need to find a time. I fell asleep last night, and then I was like, when you're asleep, you fall asleep, and you kind of like wake up from your sleep, like it's like in the middle of the night, but you haven't had a full rest yet, so you wake up and you're still like all groggy and just like, oh, I need to go into to bed, because I have like a reading chair. I was in my reading chair reading, and I fell asleep in that, and I was like, I woke up and I just immediately, I was like, oh shit, RDV's waiting on me. So I was on my iPad and I went to Twitter and I tweeted you because I didn't want to be rude. And I apologize, by the way, for making you wait around if you were. And then I was just like, my head was so groggy because I was like, I just need to go to sleep, because I was in that sleep mode. I was like, I can't do this tonight.
I figured you fell asleep or something. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just read comics.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I don't want to do that. I don't like leaving people waiting, so I felt.
Sir,
really bad.
I was more concerned about you. You're reading that book and you fell asleep. The nightmares you might have.
But the good thing was, well, good and bad. So I had work I still had to do. Mm-hmm. So I woke up and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. I already talked to RDV, so at least he knows now. He can go do his own thing. And then I was like, oh fuck, I got a couple hours of work I still have to do. So then I ended up having to stay up anyway. But the good news is I didn't wake up in the morning when it was due and be like, oh shit. Right. So it was both good. It was blessing and curse. Ronnie says they should have stopped at Raiders 3. The only good thing about number 4 is riding in the refrigerator is replaced jumping off the shark. I thought the refrigerator part was fine. Honestly, I didn't have a whole ton of problems with Indiana Jones 4s like a lot of people do. I do think that the crystal skulls could have been used better, because one of the things I love about Indiana Jones is that they base him off real mythology, right? Like the crystal skulls are real things. Like the Holy Grail is like a real thing, right? And most people believe the crystal skulls come from aliens. So having aliens in Indy 4, like it all, just the way that they ended up executing it was kind of poor. But I actually liked Shia LaBeouf. A lot of people are like, oh, fuck Shia LaBeouf. I'm like,
it was okay, but the whole thing swinging through the trees was No.
There were some dumb things. I didn't like the ants.
The guy getting killed by the ants.
Some of the stuff was a little too over the top-ish, weird. Like, but I like Shia LaBeouf. I was like, dude, I thought his character was cool, and
What's
I
your
thought they were
character
setting
name?
him up to like do possible spin-offs. And Shia LaBeouf, honestly, could be like a young Indiana Jones. Like, I think he could pull it off. But
The way even Indiana Jones making fun, they call you Mud.
right. Well,
It's
again, it was part of that was the execution.
Yeah, I know.
But I like Shia LaBeouf. I think a dude gets a bad rap.
Like I said, like we've done Aliens now. What is this? I don't even know what the story's supposed to be. Is this going to be like a James Bond thriller now? No, because that was like the '60s, wasn't that the last one, Crystal Skull?
Because the idea of Crystal Skull was that Indy was older, so obviously it can't be during the Nazi era. So they did it during the 50s, which was the height of the communist era. Yeah. But also during that era was Roswell, right? The whole alien crash, and so that all kind of made sense. They just didn't really execute it quite as well. And I think, honestly, the whole Nazi stuff is just cooler. And and having him go after mystical artifacts, and the Nazis are going after the artifacts too because they want power. It just all fit really cool. And I want to go back to that. They're not going to do that with 80-year-old Indy. What are we going to get now? We're going to get him in like the 70s?
Well, if they don't recast him, they're going to have to do a reboot like they do Tom Holland. They're going to have to do young Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's what they should do. So you can go back to the Nazis.
Sean Patrick Franklin was young Indiana Jones in the TV series. He did for like 2 seasons, I think. That was their big thing.
No, that was who was that in the?
It was Sean Patrick Flanery.
Really?
Yeah, that was him in the original Indiana Jones. Because I didn't believe it either.
Those are so long ago.
He was young back then.
Right. Yeah, the thing is not only is Indy old, I don't want to see an old man Indy, but they have to stage him at the appropriate timeline that his age would make sense.
There actually was a good.
So what are you going to do in the 70s? Is he going to be in like Vietnam?
Yeah, the thing is that Indiana Jones' life story, I want it now.
Is Indiana Jones going to go to like Vietnam to look for some sort of artifact during the Vietnam War, and he's going to like? I don't. What do you do? Like, I don't want to see that. We want Nazis.
There was a show that tried to capitalize off the combination of Indiana Jones and Uncharted. That was called Hooten and the Lady with Michael Landis. If you remember who Michael Landis? He was the original Jimmy Olsen and the DK runner.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about knockoffs. I want Indiana Jones.
I'm just saying because either you recast and and continue with these movies, or like I said, the TV series was actually pretty good. She's working with a woman who from British Museum. He's an American, and they were basically getting treasure. He was a con man. He was kind of like like I would say in retrospect of Constantine. He didn't know magic, but he was still like you couldn't trust him.
Yep. The only clear option is reboot. Because
whatever happened?
We don't want to see 80. Dude, people who are excited about this, you're not going to be excited when you see the product. You're going to see geriatric Indiana Jones running around. It's going to be ugly.
That's how I feel about this Uncharted movie. Is Antonio Banderas is signed on to the film for next year. You get Mark Wahlberg playing Sully. Have you ever played the Uncharted games?
I know about them, but
yeah, but it's like,
didn't they get Spider-Man to be the?
Yeah, Tom Holland.
We'll see. I mean, if it's a good movie, I think it'll work. We'll see. What's going to matter is if it's a good movie. If it's just a cheap try to cash in on a license, which, I mean, I don't know. Video games do not have a good history. Has there ever been a good video game movie?
Not movie that I know of, but like animated series has been Castlevania. It's actually like almost like scene for scene, and characters.
Yeah. But no movie, no live action movies.
There's been crappy movies. I mean, I like Alone in the Dark. I'm a Christian Slater guy, so I kind of look past kind of the stupid stuff in there, but then like
I'm not saying you can like the
Art-
movie. I mean, people like the Resident Evil franchise too. I'm just saying, objectively though, has there been a good? There hasn't been. No one's. I
not
mean,
that I can
even the
think of.
World of Warcraft man was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Did you ever watch the Far Cry one
Um,
with you Bull directed it?
no. Oh no,
And
dude.
it
No one should watch anything that's got you bulls name it.
I would say people would probably say the best video game movie was probably Sonic the Hedgehog, I guess, right?
Maybe that's the fact that I can't argue no is also helping my point. So
Well, according to this list here on from Rotten Tomatoes, for the top, that's the worst from 45 all the way down to 1. The worst is Alone in the Dark, the one I like.
I'm not even sure what my favorite video game movie is.
Remember Mortal Kombat games, the movies? Those were those of House of the Dead, Blood Rain, Street Fighter, Postal,
Those are all
Hitman.
terrible.
Wing Commander.
Wing Commander has a special place in my heart, but it was pretty terrible too.
And was Pokemon a cartoon or a game first? I thought it was a cartoon first, right?
Oh, that's a good question.
But they got Pokemon listed on there, both movies and stuff shows.
Detective Pikachu is pretty good, I heard.
Assassin's Creed. It gets flack, but I liked it. Tomb Raider, the original one.
Oh, you know what?
It's
I haven't
on there.
seen the new one with
Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
I liked it, and then like they're talking about I don't know if they're still going with it. They're doing a sequel, and
I heard they're doing a sequel.
it wasn't bad. Like all the Resident Evil and stuff. Like
I don't
that.
like the first two Tomb Raiders. I think they're terrible.
Oh, with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the shower scene.
I mean,
And they knew like, and Daniel Craig was in there too. Well, not in the shower scene, but he was alone.
yeah, I can't. I don't think there's been ever a good. That's what we need. We need a breakout video game movie that's like
Dead or Alive.
That's like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Remember, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man like changed the game. It was like, oh, you can make good comic book movies, and it was just you can almost like tell the difference between movies that were made before that and after.
Yeah,
like the studios realized, oh, we can make a ton of like people. If we make a comic book movie like the comic books, people will come and they'll make lots of money. That was always the problem. Like before Spider-Man, they would always like change the movie. Like, hey, we're going to make this movie, except we're going to change it because we're embarrassed of the material. Like the X-Men was like, yeah, we're going to do X-Men. We're going to dress them all in leather. And we're going to like just take away all the goofy comic book stuff because people don't really want to see comic books.
Wow. You should listen to this. This is a list from only 3 years ago. Actually, yeah, 3 years ago. So it says this is their top 10. Angry Birds is number 10. Mortal Kombat 1995 is number 10. Final Fantasy Spirits Within is number 8. Monster Hunter.
Spirits Within was a decent movie.
Monster Hunter.
I don't really count that though.
Came out last year. That's number 7.
Whatever.
Rampage is at 6.
Rampage.
Tomb Raider, the 2018 reboot, number 5. Mortal Kombat from this year is at number 4.
I could see that.
Sonic is the Hedgehog is at 3. Detective Pikachu is at number 2. Right now, they're saying the number 1, which came out in 2019, is Angry Birds the movie, Part 2.
All right then.
Like I said, I don't know if this is like it doesn't really tell me who the author is on this, but I was like, yeah, that's kind of. I mean, that's kind of up there. Like I would watch Angry Birds movies, but if they're like the video games, I guess, is that what this is based off of? But I don't know. I like the new Tomb Raider games. I mean, I like the originals, but I love the new ones. The new ones were more cinematic. But,
yeah.
And that's the one thing I've never understood. It's like they stopped making the Uncharted games. Like they made number 4 and that was it. Like they left it where he could have like continued. Like he has a 10-year-old daughter who found out that he's a former treasure hunter, Nathan Drake was. So like they could have continued it. And now there's a movie they're trying to make. I'm like, make new games. Nolan North, bro. I know you're probably looking for more money. He does retro replay. He plays video games. He talks about stuff. He talks with other voice actors. I don't know how much the guy is set, but I'm like
sometimes it's just bad to just with video
go
games. You gotta just because you can only go back to the well so many times with video games.
But then again, you know what? I think the reason he's probably they want to end it. Well, this is before The Last of Us 2 came out, but it's the same company.
And not to mention, when you do a video game, especially on the level of like Uncharted, those are like 3 to 5 years of development. And if you're a video game developer, maybe you're the guy in charge of that. Maybe you're like, I want to do other ideas that I have. I don't want my entire life's career to be Uncharted games. So I kind of get it, right?
Yeah. World War Z got it, actually. Another movie got a video game. So I don't think it has to be a video game first, right? Movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen people play the World War games. Those are fun.
The what games?
The World War Z. It's her PC, and
yeah. It's like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, but I'm like sitting the World War Z kind of thing, and like that is crazy. Especially there's a scene where they're in a subway tunnel, and you're gonna like fend off this endless. I was just thinking, like, all right, you guys go over here. I'm gonna hide in the corner.
It's pretty. It's wannabe Left 4 Dead. I mean, I don't fault them for trying.
What?
I think Left 4 Dead was better overall, but I'm excited. Actually, there's a new Left 4 Dead game coming out. They changed the name, but it's essentially Left 4 Dead. I forget what it's called.
Isn't that the Ash game?
No.
Evil Dead.
No.
It's just 4 people co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of 4 people co-op, this 2-person co-op needs to end.
All right.
For the night, not end permanently. I don't want to have another 5-hour stream as much as computer robots would want us to.
Yeah. Let's end this friendship on a high. Skip, are you available?
He's asleep.
I don't care as long as he's still watching. Leave the phone on.
Yeah, Marani says Pokemon was anime before the cards and other games. That's another thing. They need to make a good anime movie. That's another genre that hasn't been adapted by Hollywood, right?
No, that's the thing, though. It's like, I know the Castlevania was made by a Texas group, but even anime creators were saying like how great the animation was.
Yeah, but that's an anime. I'm talking about like adapting an anime into a live-action Hollywood
movie. You're getting that Cowboy Bebop.
That's a TV show.
Well, same thing as me.
No, I mean but TV shows usually have way less budget. I hope they do a good TV show, but I want to see. I'm talking about movies. As far as I'm aware, there's not been a good anime adaptation.
Only I can think is if they're going to animate it, adaptation would probably be like by the Chinese or the Koreans, what they do over there. And
No, a live action.
Yeah, live action. I've seen
Hollywood
it for some of the. Well, not Hollywood. I want like outside of Hollywood.
Why would you want outside of Hollywood?
Because it'd probably be more authentic, more to the thing. Versus Hollywood. Let's change this.
But it'd be all cheesy. You ever seen the live action films they do over like in China and Korea?
I've seen them. Yes.
I don't want that.
I mean, do you like the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff like that with the wire work and stuff?
No, what I want is Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim was basically an anime done live action, except it wasn't based on an original anime. Like it was just Guillermo del Toro doing it. But I want that. I want that quality. But do like a great anime movie. Like I want Robotech done like Pacific Rim.
You want like Yu Yu Hakusho?
No. No.
Or Trigun.
Dude, Gundam. A great Gundam live action movie?
Well, they have the Gundam live action over there on the Action Japan, I think is where they build it. It's gonna be taken down soon, not this year or the year after. but it moves. It works. Like it doesn't. You can't pilot and stuff, but like the fact that they're able to do that with the technology. Can you imagine if Japan's gonna be the one that's like you're like they're gonna take over. The otakus. There you go. But that's beyond. It's like
I want to see Akira live action. That's been in development hell for like 20 years.
Yeah, they've already done the Akira one.
Leonardo DiCaprio was attached to that project for a while.
Or Death Note, I think it was. Yeah, Death Note did a live action. And there's so many, like they said, there's so many different things. Like the Gundams ones would be kind of cool, but it'd be mostly CG. But like, I don't mind that. I mean, because I don't think you could get anywhere cheesier than some of the storylines in like the Gundam stuff.
A lot of the Gundams, especially like the movies, like they're very fucking serious. They're not cheesy.
No, I mean like the whole thing is about peace. There's always two sides. They want a war. Yeah. There's always the movies of Gundam. We want to make peace. Don't let me kill you. And they cry.
Oh, I guess they did. They did do Ghost in the Shell. I forgot about that.
With Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
I didn't mind that. Like, I mean, for what it was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't like because it was used in all white.
Probably the best so far.
Prince of Persia. Do you like that one?
Prince of Persia was an anime?
Well, I'm sorry, let's look at the video game.
No, it's a video game. Yeah.
But
I think Ghost in the Shell was probably the best so far, like Hollywood movie.
You're wrong though. The best was Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh God. Okay, with that, it's really time to go. Thanks, Venkman, for ending us on a high note. Maranya, thanks for being here. You are not chopped liver by any means. HR, good to see you. Ed Brewer.
And
computer robots, whoever else is here. Thank you all, and good night.
I was going to say, you should check us out tomorrow. Join us for the first appearance of Scarface.